If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Kempire is brought to you by Philly. The Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to you first on July 10th. Yeah, that's the same day that Real Housewives of Orange County is premiering, but our show will be better. I guarantee it. It's a night of hot topics, comedy, and so much more with special guest Alexander Rogers. We spilling tea as well. And don't forget, if you are in Atlanta, I'll be there on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd. Then back here in New York City on September 12th. All shows have meet and greets available, so get those if you don't already, if you want a picture with me or kiki with me. And don't forget, the New York City show has a live stream option exclusively. And what I say in Washington, DC, Philly, or Atlanta will not be the same thing that I mentioned in New York City. And don't forget, you have access to that live stream link for at least a week. Be sure to check out the description for more details on how you can be a part of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live summer tour. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Testing 1, 2, 3. Guys, let me know if you can see me, hear me. All the things, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Happy Monday. Another week of the Diddy trial, another week. Stay tuned. I have a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to them trying to get rid of juror number 6. Over the weekend, we had some more filings of motions on trying to prevent juror number 6 from being dismissed. But stay tuned for our recap later today on day 24. Day 24 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. We've got you covered here. Don't forget, you can hear our Diddy trial updates along with the extended versions, and our live recap of today's Real Housewives of Atlanta will also be available there as well. Loud and clear. Thank you so much, Renby. Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our channel members. Shout out to our subscribers, those of you that are always here on Mondays for our Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era.
I am the 5th member. How about that?
I didn't even mean to press that one, but it works. It works. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, there we go. You know, a little tech stuff. Want to make sure everything is working. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era, is coming to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd. But before that, less than a month away, Philadelphia. We're coming to Philly at the City Winery in Philadelphia. We had a fantastic show there last year. It was like last year. So we're bringing the show back. You guys asked us to come back to Philly. Go get your tickets. Meet and greets are available for all of our shows this summer. And the New York City show is coming on September 12th at the Green Room 42. That show has a live stream option. So even if you are in another part of the world, shout out to those of you that watch in Pakistan, India, those of you who watch in Saudi Arabia. So if you would like to be a part of the Kempire After Dark live experience, go get your tickets today for the September show. And even if you're coming to the Philly show or the Atlanta show or the DC show, what I say in those cities will not be the same thing that I'm going to talk about in September, okay? Or the tea that will be spilled. Because remember, the California show, luckily we did not have any cameras in there. Speaking of the Diddy of it all. Luckily, right? But if you were there, you remember what happened. You remember what was spilled. You remember what was said. All right. Anyway, let's get to our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, guys. If you had to rate the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I was about to say reunion looks because that's on my mind. So I'm thinking, you think I'm having a psychic moment? I'm having a Raven Simone moment? Wait, are the reunion looks coming out this week? I would think so, right? Are the reunion looks coming out this week? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay. All right. But no, how would you rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 15? Let me see what you guys, because y'all really surprised me last week with the rating, because I was like, oh, this is not a bad episode. And then I was like, oh, based off of these ratings, guys, okay. Oh, no. It's close, though. You guys are rating this episode between a 7 and a 10 with 46% of the vote. But right behind it is 43% with 4 to 6. And I still don't think 4 to 6 is bad. I really don't think 4 to 6 is bad, right? All right. Hold on, y'all. Let me just make sure. What did I just do? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to sign back into my account. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube right now. But I'm sure you guys can see me, but I'm just trying to get over here so that I can see how you guys are rating the episode. Okay. All right. 7s. I'm seeing 7s and 6s. 7-ish. T says 7-ish. Danny says this week wasn't bad thanks to Jab Jab. Shout out to all the people that watch us from Grenada. Anyone from Grenada that watch us? I knew nothing about Jab Jab. So if anything, it should get a bonus point for teaching us something about this particular island. Okay, Jab Jab, again, our people turning something that was negative into something positive, and they are celebrating it years and years later. Jab Jab was definitely probably one of the best parts of the episode for me, and the lesson that we got to learn from that. Soul Mellow gave it an 8. Have Kids, they said, gives it a 4. All right. I don't know if it was that bad, this episode. I have to say, of the trip, I'm always grading Real Housewives now on a curve because of Real Housewives of New York and how bad their last 2 seasons of the group trips have been. Remember, we recapped Roni, and I was like, this trip is supposed to be like the highlight of the season, and it was a drab. Of the 3 episodes, we had chapter 1, chapter 2, and now we have chapter 3, the rebirth. I have to say, I like this episode a lot more than the last couple of episodes. So if I had to rate this week's episode, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give this week's episode a 7. All right? Eavesdropper says, even Creonta was funny from what I saw. I'm a Christian. Yeah, even Phaedra. This is why I said when you're team no one, because I know a lot of people think I hate Phaedra. I don't know Phaedra to hate Phaedra. But even Phaedra was St. Kitts. What's going on, Janiqua? St. Kitts is in the building. The Caribbean's in the building. What's going on? Wagwan. Anyway. So even Phaedra, for me, had some really funny moments. Some of them I wrote down because I was like, that was funny. That was fun. And I really liked seeing for lack of a better word, I know they're not OGs, but they've been on the show for a very long time. So they move like OGs, okay? So seeing that scene with Porsha, Phaedra, and Cynthia, it felt like a nice warm hug because they know what to do in a scene. You know what I mean? They're not amateurs when it comes to reality television. They know what they need to do. They know when to move forward. They know when to drop some shade. But the Atlanta women have always been superior when it comes to the shade or handling scenes. So for me, in that scene, I was like, okay, this felt nice. This felt nice. I still don't think that Phaedra deserved to be full time. Based on what we've gotten from Phaedra, and I know next week we're going to get an event from Phaedra, but we've had friend doves throw events before. At least in recent years. Thea says they're vets. Yeah, and they moved like that in that scene. And I enjoyed it. It was probably like one of my favorite scenes outside of the Jab Jab. Did you guys watch the after show? I will say, based off of the season, you can tell based on the after show how good the season is, because the after shows for Real Housewives of Atlanta, based on the ones that we've seen so far, there've been 8 episodes. They're fairly short. Some of the other cities, they'll end up being like 28 minutes or 30 minutes. Their after shows in like the last couple of weeks have been like, this last one was 15 minutes. The after show is supposed to give us a lot more context, a lot more fun, a lot more. But no, it gave us none of that. I just took a glimpse of my background. Happy Pride. Ooh. I gotta say it every day. It doesn't feel like Pride. And if you listen to the podcast over the weekend, I said I was going to try and go to Brooklyn Pride because they had Brooklyn Pride this weekend, and I'd never been. I didn't go because it's still a rainy last few days here in New York City, but it also doesn't feel like Pride because, all the big companies that would put out their Pride merch and they're like, we have Pride merch. Go get your Pride merch. I saw someone order some Pride merch over the weekend. Go get your Pride merch. Okay. All right. And Juneteenth merch. It's Juneteenth this week. It's still a federal holiday for now. They might announce on Juneteenth that we're no longer having it. But yeah, it doesn't feel like Pride, but it's Pride. All right. So the after show is not after showing the way that I thought that it would. But okay, fine. Let's get into this episode because, All right. So here's the other thing. This was probably like my least favorite part of the episode where they're showing us what happened the night before. I feel like Bravo production feels like we need to have these women twerking and drinking and partying and showing us the clips of their partying from the night before. It doesn't land the same anymore. Like, we don't need them to be grinding on each other or seeing a flashback to them doing that for it to be a fun girls trip or night. It just felt for me. Obviously, you didn't show it because nothing was said, nothing was done besides them twerking on each other. And look, women of their age group that are in the live chat, is this what you do on your girls trip? Are you guys twerking and rubbing up on each other on your girls trips? I'm asking because I ain't never been on a girls trip or never been on a girls trip. Is this what you guys do on a girls trip? And look, some of you might, and that's okay. I'm not judging. I'm just saying it feels forced. It doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean? And I don't need the flashback to them. Oh, we needed this and we were drinking. They were twerking on each other. I was like, okay. If that's what you consider fun, and some people do consider that fun. Patricia says, yes, we are. Okay. Oh, look, CBM said, yep. I'm not saying that it's not about the twerking, guys. I'm talking about twerking on each other. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing a resounding no, never. I'm not saying that people don't twerk. People still twerk. I twerk in here and I twerk on the fence. It's not about the twerking. It's about the excessive. Exactly. Like Keita says, it feels like the excessive, like jumping on each other, rubbing up on each other. It feels forced. That is my thing. When I watch it, I'm like, I'm not against twerking. Please understand. Look, I can have a good time here, y'all. It's not about that. Shanika says solo travel. Me too. But that's what I'm asking. Okay. Thank you so much, Natty. Natty says, loved your Wendy Williams episode on the Kempire podcast on Spotify. Thank you, Natty. Yes, guys, we did a review of Sloan Bella's reading of Wendy Williams on the podcast over the weekend. You guys got a lot from me. Okay, over the weekend. Nitwit says, no, we don't. I'm saying a resounding no, we don't. And I'm not saying that. So I said there are some people that were like, yes, I found that to be relatable. And what I will say, based off of production, I feel like they do that in order to make it seem like, see, it is a fun girls trip. Remember, they did that with Nashville too. They had to show us an old clip from the night before, but they didn't show any sort of conversations besides the whole talking about Charles part. But nothing else. Look. Nothing else happened for you. All you showed us was that they had a fun time. Okay. And someone might be pregnant. Okay. According to Phaedra. Phaedra kept on using that line. You guys notice that? I might be pregnant. Cynthia might be pregnant. I might be pregnant. Da, da, da. She kept on saying that. I'm like, okay, we get it. You might be pregnant. Fine. All right, so Drew and Angela have breakfast. I'm liking this partnership between Drew and Angela, and it makes sense because they're both from Chicago. They're both Tauruses, so I feel like it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced, even though they may have not been friends before this. But I can feel a kinship developing between these two. Especially, they're also the ones that are being sort of alienated from the rest of the group. You guys notice that? No one really is. Yes, in this third day of the trip, everyone's getting along. But for the most part, it feels like they're alienating Drew and Angela. Is it because they're Tauruses? Is it? Maybe. Well, anyway. So Drew and Angela have breakfast together because, us Tauruses, we like to eat, especially when we're having conversation and spilling tea. Okay? Micah says there are too many sexual innuendos, too. But that's always been Phaedra. Not always. I have to say that's more so Phaedra, I think more than ever. She's become a caricature of herself. But I agree. I feel like it's being forced. But at the same time, we're sexual beings, no matter how young, old, what color we are. I'd like for us to embrace it, but it does feel like that's the only thing that's highlighted when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta in recent times. Okay? Shanika says, yes, Tauruses get along good, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of Tauruses around me like that, but I could see where we get along. We love to eat, we love to chill, relax. We kind of get each other without saying it, okay? SG says, it takes me back to Bolo. Well, I did have a moment because, honestly, I was like, well, if Kenya was here, and look, I'm not Team Twirl, but I was like, if Kenya was here, she would give us the tea on what happened on that truck. Because did anyone else pay attention to Porsha all in the face of that man that had her where she was, bumping up against, and then he had what's her name, Phaedra on her back. But did you guys notice when Porsha, she was twerking up against, and she was like, did I say I didn't want to date? And then she was twerking up against, and then she turned around. She had her mask, but she was the one with the mask on. She turned around and she was like this. And I was like, is she trying to kiss him or is she trying to say something? And then I thought to myself, I said, if Kenya was here, Kenya would report back. Kenya would report back what was happening. Because you remember what happened with the bolo of it all. But we're not going to go there because, everybody was like, oh, no, why are you doing that? I mean, at this particular point, we know what happened with Bolo. We know what happened with Bolo. All right. Let's move on. So Angela and Drew have a conversation about everyone getting along. They both were. That's the thing with us Tauruses. We like for people to get along. So when people think that we want everyone to fight or something like, well, not me, but when y'all think that I want people to fight and that will make interesting reality television, no. I like seeing Shamia and Porsha have a good time and be friends with each other. I like when I see that they're having naturally good fun. Okay? Koku, we don't use that type of language in here. You will get blocked. It's one thing to share your opinion, but we're not going to be calling people hoes up in here. Just saying. Okay. All right. So they were talking about having a good time, and they were like, it was nice for everyone to be getting along. Angela then says, I have made the mistake, because they flash back, and we talked about this last week. They flash back to Britt saying, I'm here for you, Shamia. I'm here for you. And we said last week it felt performative. It felt uncomfortable. And then Drew, I didn't realize that this week's episode that Drew was just like, and they say that I'm the actress. So both Angela and Drew were like, it felt a bit much. It definitely felt a bit much. And they were really trying to show up for Shamia. So of course they're not going to say anything, but they flash back to Drew's reaction. And Drew was just like this. Drew is like me though, because everyone says my facial reactions are chef's kiss. I'll say it like that because that's not how y'all describe it. But you always say I have a very expressive face. Okay, so Drew apparently does too. She can't help herself. So Angela took a look at Drew and they flashed back to it. And Angela's just laughing to herself. She's just like, Drew, fix your face. And Drew and her confessionals, and they say that I'm the actress. The way that Britt was acting, and look, you can't deny it. It felt over the top. I think Britt really did not want to be on the outs with Shamia. She didn't want to be on the outs with any of the women because she already saw being on the outs with Shamia meant that she was already on the outs with Kelli. Kelli had turned on her. Kelli, literally, her friendship, her loyalty goes with the wind. Look, she goes with the wind. But again, that's a Pisces for you. Pisces, y'all gonna get it this live. I'm sorry. If you're very sensitive today, Pisces, go take a break because y'all gonna get it today. Because Kelli is a Pisces in every sense of the word. You can't trust him. You can't trust them. But definitely not Kelli. Kelli is so gone with the wind when it comes to her friendship. And now she's loyal to Shamia. Again, is there context that we're missing? Maybe. Maybe there was more that happened with Britt and Kelli. But based on what we've seen with Kelli, 1 minute you're team Britt, the next minute you're team Shamia. But we have to remember, wasn't Kelli and Shamia friends first? And wasn't Shamia who introduced Britt and Kelli? And honestly, I think Kelli showed up. We always have to remember this. Kelli has shown up for Britt. I know a lot of people already sort of saying like Kelly's a flip-flopper, she's not loyal. Forever Tyranny says, hold on, not too much on Pisces. Well, buckle up. Teresa says Kelli is two-faced. But here's the thing. I don't forget how Kelli really showed up for Britt. I don't feel like Britt shows up for people, though. She didn't show up for Grenada. She didn't show up for Grenada. She didn't show up for Grenada. So she didn't show up for paying that country club bill or her decor specialist. We'll get back to Kelli and Britt and their friendship because that's the main issue in this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right, so Shamia FaceTimes with Mama Morton because, as you remember, part of the reason why Britt gave that heartfelt speech was because Shamia's daughter wasn't being taken care of by the nurse. So she has the nurse there. The nurse is all wrapped up in a heated blanket, and the child is freezing. She should lose her license. She should lose her license. Like, I don't know what happened with that. I'm sure we'll get a follow-up during the reunion as to what happened with that. But why would the nurse, if you're cold, why wouldn't you wrap the child up? Something about that was just like, it clearly neglect. So Shamia talks about how anytime Shiloh gets sick, it could for her, she could end up in the hospital. So, because Shiloh's very sickly, she was premature, she's very, very sick. And that's the whole reason why you have a nurse. So I understand why Gerald was very upset. He was just like, the woman is in here. Shiloh is not wrapped up. That's basic. So what else were you doing with Shiloh? Like, for me, I was more angry about that. But what we did find out is that Shiloh's back to normal. Her mama was there, which is good that Shamia has that. But also, you gotta give Gerald credit because he was also very active. He's taking the kids to the doctors and things like that while Shamia's working. So they're a real team. But the mom was there in the morning with the baby, and she says Shiloh's doing a lot better. But it took her like an hour in order for Shiloh to get back to normal temperature. And Shamia was like, this is neglect. Yes. What happened with the nurse? Did they kick the nurse out? Did they report the nurse? She needs to be reported. Okay. Nubian Mahogany says, this episode seemed like there were so many missing parts to a lot of the storylines. It does feel like that. That's why I'm wondering, are there missing parts or are people just being petty for a storyline? I don't know. But that's what the after show is there for. And I have to say, watching the 15-minute after show did not give me the context. I had that question too. Milagro says, why didn't Gerald also adjust the temperature? Yeah, why? I don't understand why it was so cold in that room, in this $9 million home. Why not fix the temperature? Like, I don't, because remember, they're filming during the summertime, during this season. This is during the summer. So I don't understand why. I don't get it. Daisy Bell said, why was the AC on? The AC is probably on. Again, $9 million home, you should be able to adjust it to normal room temperature, and every room should be able to adjust accordingly. But regardless, the nurse is in there. The nurse is all wrapped up. I don't understand. And if there was an issue with the air conditioning, why? Look, something's not right. The after show can be what Bravo's not paying me, but they should. For those asking the question, and if people, Bravo, you see this? People can't find your after show. It's on YouTube and it's available on Peacock. People don't even know there's an after show. You're welcome, Bravo. We got over 1,300 people watching on YouTube alone. All right, let me move on. So Shiloh's doing better. Fine. So then we had this scene with Porsha, Cynthia, and Phaedra. First Porsha and Cynthia catching up, and Porsha showing off this big old hat that she has. I'm guessing maybe she got that while she was in Grenada. I don't know if she took that back with her, because how are you packing that? So Cynthia and Porsha are catching up. Then Phaedra comes knocking. Phaedra says, oh, it's nice and cool in here. And then she was just like, I haven't been able to get my TV to work because I like to watch a good, murder mystery before I go to bed. Phaedra is such a caricature of herself. Like, she emphasizes like these weird, quirky things about herself. Do I believe all of this is 100%? No, I don't believe 100% of anything comes out of Phaedra's mouth. However, she emphasizes these little quirky things. She's like, oh, I'd like a good murder mystery before I go to bed. Ooh, yes. I'm like, okay. Some people were saying an after show. Oh, Lord have mercy. Bravo, you're welcome. Yes, there's an after show, y'all. Okay. So Phaedra talks about that. And then Phaedra then talks about, see, this was funny to me. But I don't understand why Phaedra, you're projecting. So Phaedra calling Angela a school teacher. I'm like, you've given school teacher since we met you. You've been frumpy dumpy since we met you. I don't know. She's had a bone to pick with Angela since coming back this season. She's like, she's given school teacher. Asking on me all these questions. She's like Barbara Walters. She's like, I want to ask you one more thing. I have to say, though, that was funny to me when she mimicked Angela, because Angela does sound a little bit like that. But she's like, I want to ask you one more thing. But it also feels like you're projecting, because remember, she also said she's got the oldest young woman. I forgot what I wrote down last time, what she said. And I was like, Phaedra, you're talking about yourself. You've given old lady energy since we met you. Flashback. Okay. All right. And then they start talking about the African starter kit in regards to what was going. First of all, they were talking about what was going on between Shamia and Britt at the table. And then they were talking about the African starter kit and what that includes. And Cynthia was like, what's that? What's a bust down? So of course, Porsha had to talk about that. Sidebar, Porsha. So we found out over the weekend, a blogger actually attended Porsha's divorce hearing. Again, we did a video over the weekend talking about the divorce and what Porsha is going to get from this divorce. Okay, for those that may have missed it. So apparently she's going to get paid $40,000 a month. She's going to get a lump sum. She gets to keep her Rolls Royce. She also gets to stay in the $7 million home that she shared with Simon Gobadia. And she gets to she's going to get that $40,000 a month for like 14 to 15 months, I guess, for how long they were married. She gets to stay in the home for like 3 years. But if she, decides to leave before then, she has to sell it. And then she has to give 50% of the equity to Simon. So a lot of people are speculating, oh, Simon's not going to pay it. Simon has assets here, y'all. He's not trying to have his assets seized. Even if he decides not to pay Porsha the $40,000 a month, even if he decides not to pay her the $40,000 a month, he has assets. She could literally probably recoup that money from selling the home. So regardless, Porsha wins. Oh, damn. For the first time, Porsha did something smart. For the first time. TT says the Rolls Royce is leased. Do we know that for a fact? Because I don't know. They made it seem as if she gets to keep it. So, but also we have to remember, Simon has been here for like 40 plus years. 40 plus years. So he has businesses, he has assets. I'm wondering if any of those businesses are actually stationed here. I don't know the logistics of those things when it comes to Simon. But Simon is also trying to shuck and jive with Donald Trump, in order to come back. So I don't see him jeopardizing any scam artist business. Well, he's been accused before of not paying bills here and trying to come back. I don't think he's coming back though, y'all. He's gonna spend all his good money trying to come back here to the United States. I really don't think he's going to be able to come back. That's why he's trying to shuck and jive for Donald Trump, because that would be the only way. Stacey says, I told the Porsha haters that I think Porsha's fine. I think Porsha's fine. Again, do I think it was necessarily smart for her to leave Real Housewives of Atlanta, where we found out, because like I said before, we're not going to play the audio, but I saw the audio because, again, I'm not sure the legality of sharing what happened in those proceedings with the public, because I don't know if it was a public hearing. Because if it was a public hearing, I'm surprised more people weren't there. But again, who knows? So that happened on June 11th. So the prenup in their divorce is being upheld. So Porsha is going to get $40,000 a month for at least 15 months, 14 to 15 months of their marriage. Okay. She gets to keep the Rolls Royce and she gets to stay in the home. So she's able to film in the home for next season. So she probably will stay in the home for now. All right. So one of the things that came out in court, remember, court was all day. They were at court from like 9 o'clock in the morning till like 7 o'clock at night. All day. Simon was on Zoom. Porsha was on Zoom. All right. Hold on. Dark and Lovely says, I agree, Kempire. Simon will pay the mortgage because it's in his name and he doesn't want to mess up his credit. I mean, the credit might be a little shaky already, but we don't know. We don't know. But like I said, I feel like he has other assets and other businesses and business accounts probably here in the States. I'm sure he has some over there in Nigeria and probably Dubai. I'm sure he does. What we also found out was that Porsha claims that she paid child support for 2 of his kids while he was in ICE custody because they relied on it from him. And remember, he was in custody for a couple of months. So she claims that she paid for his child support. They also claim during these divorce proceedings that Porsha was making $1.6 to $2 million for her Real Housewives of Atlanta salary. I mean, we've speculated, but this is what happens in divorces. A lot of that stuff is revealed. We found out she left that salary for a salary of being paid from her husband, a monthly stipend of $30,000 a month. So that approximately for a year is what, $360,000 for the year. So a lot of people are saying Porsha's dumb. Why would you leave a $1.6 million paycheck for $30,000 a month? Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. Remember how this all went down. It was May, 3 years ago, when the news broke that Porsha had taken Fallon's husband. Remember the situation around that. It was huge. It was everywhere. Even Nene said, that is not normal. She said, please understand, people were behind the scenes pushing that story out. I think she was claiming Bravo was pushing that story out, probably trying to prepare the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Porsha's Family of Lies, which was boring. They were like, why would she leave a $1 million check for $30,000 a month? But keep in mind, that was probably her spending money from Simon. That's not talking about him paying for her home. That's not talking about the gifts, like a Rolls Royce. That's not talking about the backlash that she would receive if she ended up coming back the next year. Elsa, set the scene, Kemp. Remember? Because I remember it like it was yesterday when the news broke. It was May. It was Mother's Day. Remember, she had her stomach on Simon before he started wearing the waist trainers. She had her stomach on him, and then she had her baby's father on the other side. And we were like, this is a strange picture. This is a very strange picture. All right? It wasn't that long ago. But here's the thing. I know a lot of people are saying, Porsha's dumb. Why would you leave $1 million check? Keep him for 3 months of work. Keep in mind, though, with Housewives, first of all, the amount of backlash that she was going to receive as she had come back that season, Porsha is sensitive. She blocks me and I'm not even following her. I don't even comment on her posts. I talk about her here and she blocked me. Porsha is very sensitive. She's a Cancer. Shout out to all the Cancers. I'm a Cancer rising. But she's very sensitive. So you think Porsha was going to be able to come back? I get it. We have to also keep in mind, yes, they filmed for 3 months out of the year. However, that's not really true. They end up filming like 4 or 5. They film for 3 months. Then they're filming confessionals for like 2 or 3 months more. So that's 6 months. And then they have to deal with the backlash of what's playing out a couple of months later. So technically that $1 million check is for a full year. Or remember, y'all still talking about stuff that Porsha said how many years ago, like the Underground Railroad or the 265 days of the year. So she's still dealing with things that are constantly playing out. Y'all are troublemakers. Spunky says, Kempire, don't forget to wish her a happy birthday. She might unblock you. Is today Portia's birthday? Wait, it's not. No, it's not her birthday yet. It's not Cancer season yet. Okay. AAGWs, thank you for being a member. She says Kemp will never forever bring up that Porsha block, and I get tickled every time. See, but this is why I think people think I'm bothered by it. It tickles me too. I promise you, it doesn't bother me because, again, I don't follow Porsha. So blocking me, it's like, I'm still going to talk about you. So again, and I saw someone else say this, Porsha left because of the lifestyle. She's flying on private jets. She doesn't have to pay a mortgage anymore. Okay, she probably is still paying a mortgage. Remember, she gave the other house to her mom. So she was still probably paying that mortgage. But she can live in this big $1 million home. So for her, I can avoid the mess and people calling me a homewrecker. And do I think that Porsha loved Simon? I'm still on the fence with that, y'all. I'm still on the fence with that if she loved him. But again, people get married for different reasons. So her leaving a $1.6 million check that she knows that she probably could always return to. And Simon probably told her, well, my love, you can, people have very short memories. Okay, so in a couple of years, you can always go back and then, everything will be fine. And look, I will take care of you. I buy you Rolls Royce. I buy you big, beautiful home. Trust me. I always tell you guys this. That damn, when they were shopping for the home, they keep playing that. All right? They keep playing it. So now I'm reminded, damn, Simon ain't got no bass in his voice. How did that happen? Ain't got no bass in that voice. T says too much bass. Damn. I can't go that low. I have naturally a bass in my voice, okay? I'm trying. I can't. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Simon does that, but here we are. So I had to give you guys an update in regards to what was playing out. I can't play the audio or show you the clip from court because, again, I don't understand. I don't know the legality of it. So I'm just giving you the synopsis of what we found out. So she was making probably nearly $2 million. So if she was making nearly $2 million, Kandi was making over $2 million. Okay. We also found out that she paid, allegedly. I mean, I believe her. Some people don't believe that Porsha paid child support for Simon's kids. But I think she did. I think she has a heart. Y'all need to stop y'all are terrible to Porsha. Porsha is a good... I couldn't even get it out. I couldn't even get it out. Porsha is a good person. Oh my God, I'm slurring. Porsha is a good person. Porsha is a good person. Let's say, maybe if we say it enough, we'll believe it. Porsha is a good person. All right, let's get back to this because I have so much more to talk about. All right, so back to the Porsha, Cynthia, and Phaedra scene, which was outside of the jab, this was probably my favorite scene, right? Because it was fun. It was nice seeing these veterans do it and make a scene and make it fun and funny. It was probably like the best scene of the trip, to be honest. Okay. And honestly, watching Angela and Drew have a conversation, again, although they're not veterans, it was giving that energy. So I could see them being core people that return next season. Okay. All right. So they talk about the African starter kit. All right. And then Phaedra talks about how Atlanta had to go cashless because Atlanta could be very scammy. Atlanta folks, yeah, I'm not playing with y'all when I come to Atlanta. This is why I'm coming in and I'm leaving quick. I'm not scammy. You know what I noticed about Atlanta? I don't know if it's scammy or not. It definitely has that feel of when you go to an event that everybody is fronting. Like, not everyone is. It's almost like LA in a way. It's sort of like everybody's fronting in a way, or everyone will go to the opening of an envelope. Abdi says she gonna block you again. She gonna unblock me, then block me again. Funky says, Kempire, add more emotion behind it, and she'll add your clip to her YouTube show. No, because then I'm gonna strike her channel. No, I'm playing. I'm kidding. I'm being facetious. So moving on. Phaedra tells them about what's been going on between Britt and Kelli because she's got tea. She's like, I got tea. Ooh. So they're all like, what? What's happening? Because Phaedra will spread tea about anyone else besides herself, okay? So Phaedra's like, I got tea about Britt and Kelli, and it's about the Glam Squad stuff. So this is where we're introduced to something that's going on. So apparently, Kelli told her Glam Squad stop working with Britt. Because remember, when Britt was going through what she was going through with Kenya, Kelli really put her arms around Britt. She brought the lady over to give her the IV treatments. She had given her Glam Squad to help her. Fine. The fact that, Kelli, that you have a Glam Squad and you still look like that. Because I never look at Kelli and I'm like, yeah, she's got a team. She's got a team. They look great. She looks great. I will say, though, if the Glam Squad that Britt was using was yours, they definitely did her better. And this is why, according to Phaedra and Britt, Kelli was upset because they were spending too much time on Britt. Britt was posting pictures and Britt was looking better than she was. I don't know why, if it's the same Glam Squad. It's not making sense to me. I don't know. But again, I don't think it always falls on a stylist or makeup artist. I think sometimes it's you. You're like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I like this or I like that. If you let them do what they feel like fits you better, it probably would work better. Because some stylists that work with certain people, you'll see this. And you'll see, like with the reunions, if the same stylist does someone else might be like, do what you want. Or another person will be like, no, I don't like that. That's not really me. And then they come out looking a hot mess. Or vice versa. Okay. All right. So that is the issue that's brewing between Kelli and Britt. Because Kelli apparently was getting in her feelings. I'm not surprised. Kelli is a Pisces. So I'm not surprised that she was in her feelings. A little jealous. Pisces, calm down. Koku says that Kelli's stylist picked Britt over her. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to defend Britt here in some instance because it did feel like Kelli was just jealous because Britt was looking better than she was. I think that's what it is. Girlish says Kelli studied fashion, but you could never tell. Yeah, she's definitely not giving fashionista. People were talking about Shamia not looking great. We don't talk enough about how Kelli doesn't look great. She looks cheap. Look cheap. So Phaedra spills the tea on that. And of course, Phaedra and Porsha are shocked because Porsha brings up the fact that they were dressing alike during her birthday. She was like, they were giving like the new frickin' frack, a frickin' frack 2.0. And Phaedra said more like the fake frickin' frack. Then Phaedra talks about an inverted nipple from from Brit. I always forget Brit's name. Damn. I always forget her name. So she talks about an invert. And I don't understand how Porsha decided to talk about Cynthia's vajayjay and that being inverted. And Cynthia was like, no, it has a hood. And then Phaedra was like the cake. I was like, where are we going right now? How do we end up here? Why does Porsha know that? Is that a scene that I forgot? Why does Porsha know that about Cynthia's private area? I was like, okay. And then Cynthia went with it, though. Cynthia was like, no, it has a hood. A hood? Okay, I'm gay. I've never been down there. I don't understand. I don't need you guys to explain to me. I don't need to know. I don't. I'm at work says Cynthia was mortified, but then she went with it. She was mortified at first. She was like, what? What? And then she went with it. She's like, it has a hood. And then Phaedra was like, it's like the cake. I was like, wait a minute. This is why I said this was probably my favorite scene, because they played off of each other and it worked. Even though I was clutching my pearls like, what? And Toya said, let's move on. Why, Toya? Are you uncomfortable? We're talking about lady parts. Okay? Why can't we talk about the lady parts? Look, Claudia says Cynthia was so ashamed. Oh my God. But the way that they played off of each other, I was like, wait a minute. How do we go from inverted nipple, Brit, to Porsha bringing up Cynthia's vajayjay, and then Phaedra saying, like the KKK? What? Nita says, Kev said, I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Okay, but I appreciate the way that they played off of each other in that scene. Let's move on. I'm not Googling nothing. I don't want to see any of that. I'm good. Maybe the next lifetime. Okay. Shan says, OMG, it's anatomy, folks. Grow up. She didn't say that part. I'm telling you guys. Grow up. Theo says anatomy lesson. Woohoo. Winter says this too much. Y'all need to know your lady parts, okay? The majority of you all here are ladies. You didn't know that you can have a hood? I didn't. Okay. All right, let's move on. Happy Pride. Ooh, speaking of Pride, guys, don't forget we are raising money for the center. With everything that's happening in our country, there are organizations like the center here in New York City that are gravely affected by the cutbacks that are happening. So if you haven't already, please donate. You can check out any of our last couple of videos. If you're watching the replay of this, you can also see it along here somewhere, where you can donate to our fundraiser. We have already raised over $2,000, but we only have 2 weeks left. But you know my real goal is $5,000. So if we at all, I said this last week, I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to shame all of you guys. The same way they shamed Brit, I'm shaming y'all. Why haven't y'all donated yet? And if you can't donate, you can share it. You can share the video and send it to someone that you know that can share. And all you housewives and producers that watch the show, y'all make enough money. Porsha, I know you still watch, even though you blocked me. You could donate. You just won in court. Donate. Help us reach our goal, Porsha. Someone send this to Porsha. Someone that she hasn't blocked. Take this clip, send it to Porsha. Porsha, send this part. Timestamp it here. Porsha. Please donate to the center. As you know, with the current administration, there are a lot of cutbacks. The center is a place where the LGBT community is able to go still and get all kinds of services. And with these cutbacks, a lot of their services will be cut back. The center has been around for decades, providing services here in New York City. To anyone, not even just the LGBT. Please understand, if you had issues and you went to the center, they're not going to turn you away. Let's keep their doors open, okay? Latoya says, don't shame me, Kempire. I donated last week. And thank you, Latoya. But how much did you donate? Was it $250? I mean, that's not a lot. Latoya, I see you walking around here with Birkins and a Rolls Royce. Someone clip this and send this to Britt. Britt, donate. Donate that $1,000 now. I know I'm on your side with Britt when it comes to that. I don't feel like they should have shamed you. I don't think they should have shamed you for that. All right, let's move on. So Britt and Kelli, this combo was awkward, right? Wasn't it awkward? Because they clearly were not on the same page. Everyone's sensing it. They're not on the same page anymore. They're not as close. They're not really dealing with each other. I'm sure production told them to have a conversation so that they could film it. So Britt goes to Kelli's room, and Kelly's acting very funny. You can tell Kelly's acting very funny. So Kelly's just like, oh, I'm going through a lot right now. I'm still trying to finalize my divorce. Excuse me. I'm still trying to finalize my divorce. So Britt brings up the fact that she was a little hurt when they had the whole conversation about the donation, and Kelli did not have her back at all. If anything, she had Shamia's back, and she was co-signing with Shamia. So she didn't like that. And Britt claims that she asked Shamia multiple times, what's a good amount? And here's the thing. I know some people are saying, well, Britt this, Britt that, Britt whatever, in regards to how much money she has, how much money she owes. But here's the thing. If someone, I don't know if she's telling the truth, but if someone is asking you what would be a good amount, you tell them. And if you don't tell them and then you shame them later, I'm looking at you because I feel like that's shady. It's okay. It's okay, Latoya. Latoya says, laughing out loud, no, you didn't, Kempire. I wish I had $250 to give, but I donated more than $5. Well, Latoya, I appreciate that. I know you're not walking around with no Rolls Royce and Birkin bags, but I appreciate it. But I appreciate it. Everyone else who hasn't donated. Okay, everyone that's donated to our fundraiser, raise your hand in the chat. If you're part of the replay crew, if you donated to our fundraiser, raise your hand in the chat. I will say I will say this. When I shamed y'all last week, we had a record numbers. Shame on. Shame. 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 Let's bring back shame. Let's bring back shame. Amina says, Britt and Kelli were never friends. Producers set them up so that they could go against Kenya and Porsha. I mean, I could see that. But at the same time, I do feel like Kelli did actually show up for Britt when Britt was going through what she was going through. But thank you, Dee. Dee raised her hand. Okay, Paula, Kareen, Fox. Thank you, Foxy. Nubia says, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. Okay, moving on. Yeah, Ken says, I do not like the whole flip-flop. That's what it feels like. I think Kelly's aligning herself with Shamia, maybe because she likes Shamia more, or Shamia's a part of the cool crowd. But at the same time, I feel like, again, context. Based on what we've gotten to see of Britt, do you think you would want to be her friend? Come on. Do you think that you would? I feel like you could pour into Britt and she would never pour into you. You get what I'm saying? And again, I don't know if that's true. Despite the big speech that she gave to Shamia, we are here for you. We are here for you. I don't know. Based off of Britt's behavior during the season, I can't say that, Britt is a good friend. Kelli, on the other hand, I will say, I do feel like she's shown up for Britt. And I remember I kept on saying it. I kept on saying it for a reason, because we don't see that a lot. And I said that about Larsa from Real Housewives of Miami. We may not like Larsa all the time, but she did show up for Lisa. Real Housewives of Miami's back. You're welcome, Bravo. You're welcome. We have nearly 2,000 people in the building. You're welcome. Because those ratings for Real Housewives of Miami were lackluster, but that episode was fantastic, Real Housewives of Miami. If you missed our recap, be sure to check that out here on the channel. All right. So they had that conversation, and here's the thing, Kelli. This is where I can't defend you, because I do feel like you were shady. because when she talks about this and she says she asked Shamia what would be a good amount, Kelli tried to make it seem like, she wants her friends to be good and do good things. And if you're a certain boss she gave like this really weird answer to Britt in regards to what she expects from Britt. I'm like, this is weird. But then Britt brings up the whole glam squad stuff. All right. And Britt says that I feel like you have your security, your makeup artist, your stylist, and you use that as a shield. All right. But then Kelli reveals in her confessional that Britt had a meeting with her team behind her back at her home. So the word on the street was the fact that Kelli felt a way about Britt spending too much time with her team, taking up too much of her team's time. And again, I thought in the after show that Kelli would be like, well, no, she was taking up all the time with my team, or like I thought she would explain it, but she never did. So I'm to believe, again, we're watching an edited show, production could have left it out. I don't know if they would have though. I thought we would get more context in regards to why Kelli felt that way. It seemed that Kelli felt that way because she was jealous that they were spending a lot of time on her, that her looks were looking better on Britt than her. Maybe. But again, that was Kelli's team. And honestly, I feel like Kelli's going to pay her team more so than Britt based on what we're seeing. I know Kelli's in the middle of a lawsuit not paying her rent on that other location, but I think sometimes that happens in business. Just saying. It could be a reason why she's refusing to pay. However, we have a situation where we had an event with Britt, a lackluster event, and she didn't pay that, and they're being sued for $10,000. Her husband's being sued. Exactly. Nubian says that leaves it up to our interpretation. And my interpretation, based on what we have of the Britt and Kelli of it all, I believe Britt, because Kelli did not explain it. So, and look, when you have a glam squad, a lot of times this is shared amongst a cast like this or in the industry. A lot of these celebrities share the same hairstylist, fashion stylist. So there's nothing with that happening. I think Kelli probably got in her feelings. Okay, Pisces. She got in her feelings and she didn't like the fact that she wasn't looking the best. And I knew this was going to happen. I felt it coming. And Britt was looking better than she was. And she didn't like that. She didn't like it. And it looks like Britt is still utilizing at least some of Kelli's team. I don't know if Kelly's still working with the same team. And the team basically warned Britt. She says, like, this is what's happening. Y'all need to have a conversation because we don't want to be... They probably felt stuck in between. Oh, Sonia, thank you for doing the Lord's work. Sonia says Paris, Kelli's stylist, took all of Kelli's pictures off of his Instagram and only has Britt. So they must have had a falling out because I've seen... Remember Britt when she was on Watch What Happens Live? The stylist was there. I hope he got paid. Just saying. Toya says celebrities may share, but not a whole team. Well, I think when they said team, they were talking about the makeup artist. They were talking about the stylist, the hairstylist. A lot of times, you'd be surprised. A lot of them do share the same people for the most part. Or there's multiple people that they're working on at the same time. I think Kelli really did get in her feelings about it, to be honest. Which is okay, Kelli. You're sensitive. You're a Pisces. Oh, Alexandra says, I think Paris is going to regret that choice. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. First of all, who's going to utilize you next season? She's not coming back next season. She's suing the network for $20 million. Is she going to get $20 million? No, she's not. But she knows that too. Okay? I mean, I believe Kelli will come back next season. I know people don't necessarily love Kelli, but I definitely think Kelli will come back for another season next season. So that's another paycheck, another thing to highlight her businesses. Her divorce has been finalized. I don't know if she got any money from that divorce. So I don't know. This other person's being sued by one place for not paying. Another person saying that they didn't pay her. I don't know if you're going to get paid. Allie says, who was paying the bill? I'm assuming Kelli was paying the bill for her and Britt for them to use her services. I don't know. But again, during the after show, that could have been brought up. But no one brought that up. Joy says, I'm with Britt on this one. Look, I feel like Kelli got in her feelings. I think Kelli got jealous. I think because Britt probably looked better in regards to the makeup and the styling, she got in her feelings. She almost says, I like Kelli too. I will say Kelli will probably more than likely be back next season. Nita says, Kelli started strong and dwindled over the season. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I think for the most part, she had a solid season. I definitely think she'll be back. All right, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way for supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget, we will be giving you day 24, right? Day 24 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. If you missed it, there is a whole playlist for those that, I know someone just told me the other day, they wait to the end of the week and they listen to our recaps from the week. So it's an easy, nice summary of what's been happening in court when it comes to the Diddy trial. They filed a motion over the weekend because Diddy's attorneys are very upset that this black man juror is being kicked off. So the judge said he was going to reconsider over the weekend. So stay tuned for the update on that because I have a lot of thoughts on that. Jocelyn says, fingers down for twerking at our big grown age. I don't think there's anything wrong with twerking. It was not just the twerking. It was them twerking on each other, like the over-sexuality of it all. I was just like, okay, all right. And this is coming from the gay man. Okay, I'm like, but it feels, you know what it is? It has nothing to do with their age or twerking. It has to do with, are we forcing this? Is this performative? It's not reading as natural to me. Oh, Anthel says, if I was Paris, I would leave Kelli too. She's blocking his money or protecting his money because we don't know if Britt's going to pay. Just saying. Let me say thank you because we had quite a few super chats and my throat is dry. Hold on. That don't even sound right. But I'm talking a lot. I need to hydrate. And I have my Diddy update later on to do. Gracie, thank you so much for always supporting the channel and sending in super chats. We appreciate your support. Gracie says, I would love to see them go shopping and the moment of the donation when they gave back. After all, the donation was a big deal with Britt, and to not see it made no sense. Well, you know what? I think it was the timing of everything, because remember, we saw them setting up for a pickup. But you're right. We didn't see at all like the distribution of the supplies or anything like that. We did get to see the minister. That's the next scene that we're going to talk about. The prime minister and the chairman for tourism, they're handsome and nice smiles. Yeah, you're right though. We should have seen something. It was nice to see the jab, but we didn't even see sort of maybe they did talk about it. Remember the house that one of the groups went to was one that was affected by the hurricane. But yeah, I mean, you're right. We could have seen a little bit more of that. Linda, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Linda says, I don't believe it. Don't believe what? Wait, I'm lost. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, I think Faktra doesn't like Angela because she's intelligent. She doesn't bother Cynthia because she's still hurt over the win the case moment. I mean, that would be a quick comeback. Again, that's always a nice fresh one to lay on Phaedra. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Nicole says, Kempire, you always crack me up imitating Phaedra. Ooh, yes. I need you to start doing spoofs on certain housewives and husbands. No. Look, no. Paola, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Paola says, in my opinion, she never left reality TV. She did Porsha's Family of Lives, Ultimate Girls Trip, and Stars on Mars. Yes, but she didn't do the show where they would have held her accountable. That's the difference. Because she had come back the next season, then they really would have been like, oh my gosh. She did leave before she did Porsha's Family of Lies. There was a little bit of a break. Keith, and remember, she controlled. She was called out during Porsha's Family of Lies of trying to control what her family said and did on camera. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, Porsha and Simon was all smoke and mirrors. He was paying all the bills, but yet she was paying the child support. Well, remember, she said she paid the child support while he was in ICE. So he wasn't able to pay it. I believe her with that. Why don't you guys believe her with that? Porsha, I believe you, girl. She was forced to marry Simon because at that point she had to prove us wrong. Oh, you think she's being stubborn? I could see that. But I also think Porsha likes to be in a relationship. I think Porsha wanted to marry a rich man. I do believe she wanted to marry a rich man. Some people joked on social media that Porsha just wanted to have a Nigerian wedding. April, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, someone, quick, go do the Lord's work and find out how much Kelli got in the divorce. I don't think her husband was that rich, but he definitely owed her a lot of money. So I don't know if she ended up getting that. Hey, Vicky. Vicky's watching. We have our Facebook crew. Guys, don't forget, you can also watch us on Facebook. I know a lot of you probably don't even know that. You can also watch us either on TheKempire or Kempire Daily on Facebook. So shout out to our Facebook crew. We appreciate you guys on Facebook. Robert, thank you so much for the super chat. Robert says, my reunion question would have been, Britt, can you explain how you were triggered by Kenya, but she twirled off your lips every episode? I mean, that's the disappointing part, is the fact that there are a lot of questions that we could have had. And I think this probably would have made the reunion perfect. Let's maybe actually have some resolution. And I think maybe I don't know. I think it's for the best. Britt, I'm happy that Britt did what she did, because for me, that just solidified that she won't be back next season. Just saying. Okay. Not Chuvalo. Mary says a court order also required Chuvalo to pay Kelli back $420,000 he allegedly withdrew. Okay, remember she claimed that he took money from her, from their, I guess, joint account. All right, let's move on. So the group goes by the pool and they're hanging out. Kelli and Shamia come out dressed alike. Remember, Shamia's luggage was still missing at this particular point, but Kelli still had her stylist and her people there. So Shamia was not without having things, okay? So Angela makes a comment to herself in the confessional, just saying, like, we are too grown to be dressing alike. But then she keys to herself. She was like, Britt is going to be so mad. I will say, though, Britt came out. I don't know if Britt still was using Kelli's team, but Britt came out looking a little like, didn't she kind of look like all over the place with what she had on? I was like, I don't know. So I don't know if she was still utilizing Kelli's team at that particular point, or at least Paris. But yeah. All right. So Randall, the chairman of tourism, arrives, and all the ladies are flirting with him. They're like, "Oh my gosh, the men here in Grenada are fine." Blah, 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 blah. So, I gotta say this, because we always say this. How would you guys feel? Let's say if the prime minister was acting the way that these women were acting, or as Phaedra was acting. What if the prime minister hugged up on Phaedra and was just like, ooh? How would y'all feel? Because I always have to bring it back and switch it up in regards to how these women treat men. How would you guys feel if the prime minister hugged up on Phaedra and was just like, ooh? How would y'all feel? I'll wait. I'll wait. Huh? Rooted Voices says, I said the same thing. Winter says that the men are fine. Phaedra was too thirsty. It's one thing to say this to the other women. It's one thing to say it in your confessional. But in that moment, everybody was very flirtatious with him. But Phaedra hugged up on him and she was like, oh. I was like, Cassius says it's always a double standard. Well, we're going to call out the double standard. It's one thing to flirt in a way, but to hug him and then make a sound. Do we know if that man was married or had a girlfriend? We don't know. Tasman says, I would be disgusted. See? Magnolia Bell says it was tacky, not a good look. Because my thing, she could have hugged him and then made a comment about it in her confessional. But in that moment, I just wanted to say it. Hey, Samira. Okay. So everyone's flirting with the chairman. Okay, Randall. But everyone was sort of like, oh, Kelli wants to, be with him. But Kelly's, literally in the middle of a divorce. And Kelli doesn't like good-looking men. based off of her ex, okay? Oh, Afro Girl Diary says, yes, double standards, especially worse with a public official. Yeah, remember, he's the chairman of Grenada's tourism. I think that making the sound made it worse. It's one thing just to hug him and be like, oh my gosh, you're handsome. I think that's one thing. But to make that moan was like, oh, okay, that's a bit too much. But some people was like, you're too wrapped up too tight. Okay, but again, if he had hugged her in that way and then made that sound, we would be talking about something very different. Natasha says he was leaning into that flirting. So okay. Now if the tables were reversed and we were saying, well, she was leaning into that too. Oh, now we're blaming the victim. Okay. Oh, now we're blaming the victim. Okay, Natasha, we see you blaming the victim. Okay, let's move on. All right, so they talk about jab, and we learned about the history of jab, and how it is a form of protest. And Randall's talking about how they're going to do it, and he was giving them the history about it. All right, Kelli, though, she talks about after he ends up leaving and Porsha's filming him walk away. She's like, I'm going to send this to my mama. They were talking about how I did laugh when Phaedra was talking about how she liked bow-legged men. And then in her confessional, she was just like, she's like, with the pasteurized milk now, men ain't bow-legged anymore. I'm going to give Phaedra her credit. It was funny when she was talking about how men ain't bow-legged anymore. I thought that was funny. All right. Because she liked a bow-legged man. Was what's his name? Apollo bow-legged? Here's the thing. Y'all saw the recent photo of Apollo sharing a photo with his sons, including his new son. Why wasn't Apollo sharing photos with the new son a long time ago? Why conveniently is he now sharing those photos and sharing him on social media? Remember, he found this long-lost son when he was in jail. Why all of a sudden now we get to see the son everywhere? Dylan looked perturbed in that picture. He was like this. For those that can't see, he looked upset in that photo. Oh yeah, she said rickets. She's like, they ain't got rickets anymore. She made me laugh. I will give Phaedra that. She was funny in her confessional when commenting on that. All right, so apparently Drew and Kelli have a lot in common in regards to their anniversary dates the same, and they started connecting on her ex, Mark. He's on his 6th divorce attorney. And Drew's like, Ralph is on his 3rd. So they start talking about all the things that they have in common in regards to that. And Drew says it hurts her because literally they were coming up on their 10th anniversary and she really wanted to have a vow renewal. Drew, I'm so glad you're not, because we did a video over the weekend too, talking about how Ralph has been crashing out on social media, dropping receipts, I'll put in quotes, receipts about Drew cheating on him, pictures with her with Ty Young. If you don't get away from me with this, Apollo, get away from us with this, Ralph. We don't care. He's also taking credit for all the lame antics that Drew did in her first season. He's like, I was the one who came up with that. Well, now this is probably why Drew's probably having her best season, because you're not giving her lame things to do on this cast. I was like, oh, it makes complete sense. The cornball antics that she was doing in her early seasons that made her unlikable is because of Ralph. And then the fact that now that they're separated, she's more likable. What a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. Elizabeth says, I believe Drew. I believe Drew too. Just saying. Okay. All right. Moving on. So Britt lets them know about her combo with Kelli, because Kelli goes off because she has to have a conversation with her divorce attorney. And she lets them know about how the conversation went, how Kelli was disappointed in Britt's behavior. And Phaedra makes a comment. She's just like, hold on. Is she the prime minister of this group? And again, that's the way it came off when Kelli tried to sort of switch it up on what she expects from Britt. I was just like, again, Britt's not my favorite person on this cast, but Kelli, you're doing too much instead of really telling the truth in regards to you feeling insecure about Britt looking better than you. Just saying. So she updates them on that conversation. Porsha decides to pull Shamia aside because she wants Shamia to feel good. And she wants Shamia to do a photo shoot in the big hat. So she pulls Shamia to the back, and Shamia comes back out in the big hat, and they do a photo shoot. Phaedra's the photographer, and Cynthia is the creative director. Cynthia probably should have been the photographer too. But that's fine. And Portia's just like, I just want to uplift my friend. And of course, Shamia feels good. Shamia's like, this is this is the best friendism. She's feeling good. So what happens? I'm guessing based off of the preview for next week, Britt is what happens between Shamia and Porsha. I already told you what's going to happen at the reunion. They're going to hash out their issues. Hopefully we'll find out what happened between Shamia's mom and Portia's mom. And because you saw what Porsha said on social media, you know what your mother did. And what your mother did was egregious. And we said, spell it, Porsha. Spell it. But no. So I already told you how that's going to end up. They're going to cry, they're going to make up, and they're going to be best friends again. I will say, though, my favorite part of this trip was seeing these two get along and them have a good time. I didn't need the butthole song, but that's me. You know what I mean? So I thought, I was like, okay. Remember, Cynthia has done interviews, and she said a lot of things happened during the trip. New friendships were formed. A lot of maybe broken friendships. The Britt and Kelli broken friendship, the friendship wasn't that deep. So I'm sort of looking back on the trip. If I had to rate the trip itself, it wasn't that bad. I have to say the third part of the trip, chapter 3, the rebirth, was the best part, and it saved the trip because the trip was sort of like, It wasn't that great of a trip, but it wasn't as bad as Roni. So I'm also grading it on a curve. Okay, I'm always going back to Roni. But the third part of the trip was far better. All right. So Shamia tries to she does the photo shoot. Porsha trying to uplift her. Instead of her doing the photo shoot, she wants to do it for her friend. I think that was fantastic. I prefer seeing that. Okay, here comes Coco singing the song. Booty booty hole. Lord, I can't with them. All right. Let me see. Let me move on. So Kelli has the call with her divorce attorney, and we find out that there's a property that her husband sold. Her husband does seem a little shicey. We're not getting his side of the story, but if the court found you in contempt and they put you in jail, I'm going to lean on Kelli's interpretation of what's going on in your divorce. Because Kelli said that the relationship got really dark and abusive. We're at the point where she was like, hiding in her closet. So she says that he had gifted her a property that he ends up selling to one of his friends. So he was probably trying to get rid of assets. But he says, do you have the deed to it? And she's like, well, he gave it to me in a card. And then she said she doesn't even know where it could be because he probably put it with the safe and, all their personal important documents. So I don't know how she would prove something like that. But that's a note to anyone that's ever gotten, sidebar, those of you that are married, gay, straight, whatever, you should always have an FU fund. And let this be known, if your partner has gifted you property, if you don't have the deed, get the deed. And if they're asking you, why you want the deed? Don't worry about it. I was like, you gave me the deed. Come on. You gave me this as a gift. Go get it now. Put it in a safety deposit box. along with some extra cash. You gotta have an escape plan. I don't care how much you might love them or them. I don't care. Men too. If you're married to a woman, she might take you for everything. Go do it now. I know you're listening with your wife right now. Just keep nodding your head. She's probably going to turn to you and look at you right now. Just nod your head. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Later on, go. Men usually do have another account, but have a separate account. But more so, ladies. You know, men are always going to have their sneaky ways. Ladies, have your FU fund. If he gifted you anything, property, bank accounts, anything like that you need verification for, you need to make sure you have it. You saw what happened to Kelli, right? Make sure you have it. Okay. I definitely believe in an FU fund. Sidebar, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you are married? Do you all have joint accounts, or do you have a joint account and a separate account? Some people out here with just a joint account. Badger Mommy says, I had mine. Some people are out here with just a joint account. Let me just tell you something, especially if you guys make a lot of money. Not everyone does, but if you do, some of y'all got some money up in here. And for those of you that have money up in here with your Birkin bags and your Rolls Royces, have you donated to our fundraiser? Have you gotten tickets for the Kempire After Dark show that's coming to Philly on July 10th, or Atlanta on August 5th, or DC on August 22nd, or New York City? Why haven't you? You got the money. Anyway, back to this. It's important regardless. So let's say if you have a bit of a coin. You know, the bank only insures up to, $250,000. So, you know, this is a good reason for like, okay, we got $250,000 over here. I mean, if you're lucky. You have $250,000. You need a separate account regardless. How many of y'all got multiple bank accounts? Me, by myself, I have multiple bank accounts. I got like 6. Oh, damn. Yo, I mean, some of them was a business account, but so when I have my billionaire, we'll have a joint account. I mean, he probably's not going to want, I know he already has his separate account. Okay. I know he already has his separate accounts. We're going to have a joint account, and any cash he gives me, I'm going to open a new account. I'm teaching you ladies. This is what you should do. Because a lot of y'all are not saving your money. Taurus Moon says Kempire causing divorces. No, I'm setting you up for the divorce. Okay? So any cash that he's giving you, you should be taking that and putting that into another account. All right? Georgetown, Guyana, what's going on? Oh, or what on? You should be putting some of that money into a separate account. Angel says, I got 4 Kemp. See? I mean, none of these banks are giving you interest rates like they should, but you should have multiple accounts. Look at Wendy Williams. And I don't know if Wendy had separate accounts, but based on what we've seen, she didn't. She had all her money in Wells Fargo. And now all of that's tied up in Wells Fargo. They're the ones who triggered her conservatorship, her guardianship. So if she had another account over there at Chase, at least for a moment, she would have had that money. So especially if you have millions of dollars, I know some of us don't have millions of dollars. Okay, I think the majority of us don't have millions of dollars. Whoa, 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 whoa. But if you do, the bank only insures up to $250,000. Diversify. And what are we talking about? Well, I'm teaching the girls, okay, and some of the men that are listening. Get a separate account. Don't be a fool. All right, moving on. Let's move on. So. Let's get to the Jab Jab. So they have the Jab Jab festival. They're preparing for it. They're getting dressed. They're all in black. They're in their thongs and their horns. Because for those that didn't know the history of the Jab Jab, I didn't know the history. Basically, this was rooted from slavery because they viewed slaves. They wanted, and they still try to do this to us, and they try to separate us, and we fall for it every time. Look, they try to make us seem like we're the devil. Okay. And so what they did in Grenada is embrace that. They paint themselves in this black oil. They wear the horns. And during Carnival, they're jumping up and down, and they have the chains from slavery. It's a whole taking the power back. Okay. Joy says, can we all be invited to the wedding, Kempire? Your man can cover the cost. Here's the thing, though. I want a small wedding. Why would I invite everybody here to my small wedding? Why would I do that? Okay. All right. Oh, good point. Queen says you also need an E-Trade account, a credit union savings account. Come on, people. You just got my mind going, Queen. I got some more things I need to do. I got to, diversify. But pay your taxes. Look. I'm not trying to get y'all in trouble. Pay your taxes. All right? Have a good accountant. Sign all your checks. Sign. All right. All my accountants are women. I think all black women too. Like my accounting team are all women. All right. Moving on. Those are the only people I'm going to trust with my money. All right. Moving on, let's do this. The Jab Jab Carnival Festival. So the women get dressed up. I thought this immediately. Cynthia puts these tights over her faux locks. And I'm like, Cynthia, how is that supposed to protect your hair if it's material? It's not plastic. But I guess she wasn't thinking it through. All right, she wanted to protect her hair. The women go and they're having a good time. We see them, dancing and blah, blah, blah. It's like Carnival. So for those because when we talk about the sexualization of things, Carnival is very sexy like that. So that part didn't bother me because I know how Carnival can get. All right. So the women are dancing, then they get up on the truck and they're dancing and they're having a good time. They're covered in this black oil. All right. And it's getting everywhere and in all their crevices. Okay. But again, I'm going to point out, Porsha's like, who said I wanted to be single? So she's, twerking on the man. But then I had to rewind. She goes back and she has the mask on and she's all up in his face. I thought she was going to kiss him. Again, I could have just been seeing things. I could have just been reading too much into it because I didn't see lips touch anything. She was just all up in his face. I thought she was going in for a kiss. Well, then he takes pulls Phaedra up on him and she wraps her feet around him. And then he puts her down and then she's just like, oh my God. And then she's like, I'm a Christian. Nothing about you is giving Christian, okay? But it's okay. You were having a good time, all right? So she's laying on her back and he's dancing up on her and she's like, I'm pregnant. Oh, Lord, Phaedra. All right, so that same guy now I want to see that guy without all that black oil on him because he kind of did look hot. I want to see him without all the black oil. Can we find him? Can you guys find out who that man was? I want to see him without all the black oil. All right. So the next day, the ladies are talking about trying to scrub their stuff off. I feel bad for that villa because but they're probably used to it, especially if people come there and they're celebrating Jab Jab. That's like when you go to India and it's Holi. And I participated a little bit, but usually people are covered in all the different chalks and things when you're celebrating that. So I can only imagine coming back to a hotel because a lot of times, those folks, when they go to India, they'll go and really participate. And I saw them in my hotel. They came back and they were covered in it. So I know their room was a mess. Because, at the hotels, they only give you like white sheets. So I know that room because, okay. Can we talk? I know if I came back like that, I'm going to be very mindful not to ruin people's property. Some folks, when they travel, they're not going to be mindful. So all the towels, all the things, all the sheets are going to be covered in it. They probably don't even bathe. So anyway, so they talk about it the next day in regards to washing everything off. Britt apparently got to know Phaedra very well because she ended up scrubbing Phaedra, like all her insides and things like that. I mean, maybe y'all do that as women. As men, even gay men, I don't see us doing that for each other, to be honest with you. Exactly. Keisha says, me as a Virgo, do tell. The first thing I'm thinking, how are we getting back in the house without this being everywhere? Right? Like, I would have stripped at the door, but am I going to strip in front of all these people? Exactly. Jamie says, cause you have manners, Kempire. I'm just saying. That's the first thing I'm thinking as well. Like, how am I getting back into this place without ruining? Is that all that black oil? Kira says, Shamia wearing those Chanel boots to Jab Jab was blasphemy. Did she keep them on? Because Britt warned her. I think she would have been able to get the oil off the boots, but Phaedra says she's rich. She could afford it. Probably. All right. So Britt and Phaedra got to know each other very well. Like washing all her insides. I'm like, okay. Ms. Bug says, I don't wash others. Another Virgo. Well, this Taurus ain't washing nobody's insides like that either. Like, I don't need to see you. Unless you're my partner. If you're my partner, that's different. Then I would probably, because I already seen all of that. So I'm going to scrub. But they still weren't scrubbed. You saw a bunch of them still had the black oil on their skin. Patrick Mom says that black oil clogging their pores and all. I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know what kind of black oil is it. Like, I don't know how they make that. I don't think it's literally like black oil. I think it's like a mixture. It's probably like a hobo oil. Maybe, right? Mixed with like something else. Maybe? I don't know. Anyone from Grenada? What kind of oil is it? Is it castor oil? If it is, that's good for your skin. Rub it in. Look, rub it in. I'm just saying. And your hair. Even if you don't have hair, it can grow some. Sincere says they didn't scrub hard enough. Britt was judging them and how they don't take care of themselves in regards to bathing properly. Okay, Britt. Britt want to act like she's such a housewife and that she's so rich and she has such manners, but she don't know how much to donate to a cause. Okay. Which just says, I'm not washing y'all. Thank you, L. They better get that butter. Yes, guys. And I've been using Butter's, okay, shameless plug. I've been using Butter's whole system for their showering. So I use like the body wash, and then I use like the bar soap that's supposed to like be like a part of the whole system. So I've been using that lately. Again, 10% off. Discount code is in the description, along with our merch for Pride and for Juneteenth. Juneteenth is on Friday. Not Friday, on Thursday. It's all week, though. Come on, jab, jab. All right. So the ladies catch up, and they were just talking about the trip and how well the trip went. Then Kelli talks about, after she got off the phone call talking about her divorce, her rose quartz ended up breaking in half. And they were like, uh-oh. Is that symbolic of something? And she was like, yeah, the end. She said the end of her relationship. And it is. And so she says, would you guys follow me into throwing this into the ocean? Well, usually in order to get rid of a crystal, they say, give it back to the earth. I guess you could do it to the ocean. Look, I brought some rose quartz. This is some rose quartz. I have bigger rose quartz, but I always say I got stuff in my pockets. I even got some black tourmaline to keep the evil spirits away. But this is what Kelli had. She had the rose quartz, and she said the rose quartz split. So the rose quartz split, so she wanted to throw it back into the ocean. So they throw it back into the ocean, but before she throws it, they flash to what we can see for next week's episode. All right, I got some more. Oh, okay. I got more crystals in my thing. Excuse me, y'all. See, I need to make sure I'm drinking water. If you are a member of the channel, I have dropped the calling link for our Royal Court members and for our senior royals. If you are a Team Kempire member, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys as well. Keep liking the video live chat. I will drop the call in link for you guys once we get to mods. How many likes should we get to? Oh, I'm surprised we don't have more people. Are a lot of y'all Team Kempire members? But live chat, how many people we got here? We got over 2,000 people. Oh, we need to get our likes up, y'all. All right, we need to get our likes up, and I'll drop the call link for you guys. All right. Hopefully, StreamYard is working today for you guys, so that you guys can call in. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. Hey, y'all that are watching on Twitch. I'm sorry, I didn't even see everyone. Hey, Cecilia. Cecilia is watching on X. Hey, Cecilia. Bonjour. Madame is watching on X. Hold on. Cygnus. Cygnus is watching on X as well. Skinny Goutreau is watching on Twitch. Shout out to all of you guys. All right. Okay, Bonjour is watching us on X. All right. Shout out to everyone watching us on those platforms. We appreciate you guys. And don't forget, guys, we are on those platforms. So if there are other places you want to watch us, and sometimes we go live separately on those places, like Instagram. We went live on Instagram over the weekend. We're not live on TikTok because TikTok decided to block me based off of something I said during our last Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. I tried to appeal it. I don't know what we said on that last one, but if YouTube didn't strike my channel, why are you guys? Because the algorithm on TikTok is weird. Make sure you guys are following me everywhere. All right. All right. 900 likes, according to Foxy. So once we get to 900 likes, guys, I will drop the call link for the general audience. Okay. Thank you to our King's Guards. Guys, don't forget to say thank you to our King's Guards in the live chat. We need to add like 1 or 2 more King's Guards to help Foxy out because we got 2,000 people in the building. If you are interested in being a King's Guard, be sure to let us know. However, you have to be here. No, not that you have to be here, but you have to have been here multiple times over the years. I have to know who you are in order to be a King's Guard here on the channel. So, but let me know if you're interested because we haven't really added anyone to the team in a long time. All right. But again, you don't have to be here all the time. But if you're here normally, why not? Hold some power. I'm being facetious. Calm down. So they flash to what we can see in next week's episode. And some of the things that we're going to see is that Kelli says that she's not divorced and that her ex goes to jail. She says that she hasn't spoken to Britt since Grenada. And I'm guessing this is all over the glam stuff. All right. To me, that's not even a big deal. And for Britt to decide to sue the network versus trying to make amends with these women and come back next season, I don't know if it's going to be worth it for you, Britt, to be honest with you. But we shall see. I'm sure this is going to go into mediation, but that's just me. And mind you, I do think that Britt has a valid lawsuit. I do think she does. And because I do believe that Bravo handled the situation poorly. But at the same time, I don't know what her contract looks like. She might have a stipulation in there that it has to go into arbitration, like Nene's lawsuit did. But Nene also had a valid lawsuit too, and she cited so many examples from over the years in her lawsuit that are legitimate. But she also had to dismiss her lawsuit and go into mediation. It took a few years for that mediation too. All right. I see some of you that are saying that you want to be considered. I will consider it. I will definitely consider it and get back to you guys. So stay tuned. We'll see if you're still here over the next few days. Okay. All right. What else do we see? We also see the scene with Porsha, Cynthia, Phaedra. Oh no, Porsha, Cynthia, and Britt. And Britt's talking about, she showed me your text message. They don't say who it is, but I believe this is what causes the rift between Porsha and Shamia, whatever text message is. So I guess because Britt's having this falling out with Shamia and Kelli, she wants to turn Porsha against Shamia. But again, Porsha, I'm looking at you sideways because at the end of the day, you are, that's your best friend from years. So why are you believing other people over your best friend or not giving your best friend grace? But we'll see how that plays out. Then, of course, Phaedra comes in with talking about Charles. She had a bone to pick with Angela, and I don't know why. I don't know if she's being a producer's pet and the producers said, okay, we need you to do this. I wouldn't be surprised. Phaedra wanted to come in full time. She wanted that check, so she's going to do what the producers or the network wants her to do. So she is going to be coming after Angela next week. and Charles, and in regards to him possibly cheating. We do get to see Charles next week because they're doing some sort of cooking event with Kelli and Charles. It's going to be cooking too. I wonder if Charles' food is any good. Apparently, they love it. And look, Angela's a Taurus, so his food must be good. That might be the reason why she's sticking with him. Oh, it's okay. All right. I'm going to close this so we can be done. I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. And I really did not want to talk that long. But let's get to our callers. You know, last week we were trying to get callers and we weren't able to. So this week, you guys can weigh in, but you only have 30 seconds. Okay, I will give members that are calling in right now. If you're a member and you call in after I drop the call-in link for everyone else, I'm sorry. So members that are calling in right now will get a minute. But you have to respect the timer. If I have people start talking over the timer, I'm going to have to cut it down to 30 seconds. Okay? All right, let's get into it. I do want to remind you, the callers' opinions do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors. And everything that they say is alleged. And thank you for the reminder, Sydney. Sydney says, see you in Philly, Camp. Got my tickets last week. Thank you, Sydney. See you then. Yes, guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the villain era, is coming to City Winery in Philadelphia on July 10th. That is less than a month away, almost 3 weeks away. Go get your tickets today if you haven't already. There are meet and greets available for that show. Then, speaking of Atlanta, we're coming to Atlanta City Winery on August 5th. Go get your tickets for that. Meet and greets are available for that. And don't forget, I'm coming to DC on August 22nd. The first time that we're coming down to Washington, DC in the summer. So this should be a turned up show. Go get your tickets for that show. Then, of course, we'll be here in New York City on September 12th, rounding out our summer tour. That show has meet and greets, but also a live stream option. So if you can't come to any of the shows because you're in another city or another country, go get your tickets for that. And also, even if you come to the other shows, what I say in Atlanta or in Philly won't be what I say in September. So stay tuned. Let me take a sip. Let's bring up our callers. Cynthia's first. Cynthia was waiting patiently behind the scenes. Cynthia, what's going on? Oh, Cynthia.
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? We got to turn off that music.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing Uno.
Oh, Uno. Uno has music?
Oh yeah. It's on the iPhone. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't played Uno in years. I've only played the card game.
No. Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Last episode, I would give it an 8. It was okay.
Okay.
It was okay. I don't really see glamoring on Kelli. Is it me?
No. I agree.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And I feel like Kelli jumped on Shamia's bandwagon, and plus her issue with Brittany that probably compiled, and now they're not friends anymore. But Brittany's not friends with anybody. She's a Libra, so.
Well, they have not the Libra shade.
Yeah, you know what? There's one of my sisters that I'm beefing with. She's a Libra, and she acts just like Britt. Always playing the victim. Nothing's ever their fault.
You might have a point.
Okay, see?
And I like Libras. I get along very well with Libras, but I can see that about them.
They're narcissists.
Oh, okay. I didn't say all that.
Libras catching strays. Sorry, Libras.
You got beef with your sister right now.
Oh, yeah, I don't like her. And I'm a Cancer.
What do you mean you don't like her?
I don't like my sister. Once you cross the line with me, you got a lady. You know us Cancers, Kempire, grudge holders.
Yeah, look at Porsha. Wow. Okay. I forgot to start the timer, but I guess your time is up.
My time is up. I said enough, Kempire. Thank you so much.
Bye. I wanted to get to the bottom of what. Okay, hold on. Cynthia, what's the beef, though, with your sister real quick? I'm nosy.
I know. She's honestly, we've never got along since we were kids. She was born 92. I was born 83. We're 9 years apart.
Oh.
She's full of shit, Kemp.
Oh, no, Cynthia. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. We just don't get along.
But why y'all beefing now? Like what went down?
Well, there was one. I want to say about a couple of years ago, we got into a fist fight. We're always fighting each other, and I beat her up, and I think she's harboring.
Why did I ask?
You got what you asked for, Kempire.
We are not promoting violence. But
we're not promoting violence, guys. We're not promoting violence. I thought we made up, but I guess she wasn't over it. So
she's not over the beat down?
Yes.
From last year?
But yes. But that was 2 years ago.
Oh.
But Kempire, check this out. She's also beefing with my other sister. She's a Scorpio.
Also, she don't like water signs.
Yeah, my sister's a Scorpio. We're 17 months apart, and I'm a Cancer. So she doesn't talk to any of us, and we don't talk to her either.
Really? That's interesting. I'm really shocked.
Those darn Libras.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. My dad's a Libra. I don't talk to him. I don't like Libras. That's it. My dad's a Libra.
A lot of y'all don't like Libras. My sister's a Libra. But I don't find it. I can see the victim stuff, but I don't know about the lying stuff.
Libra be lying?
Wow.
I can't
so
wait
she's
to get
holding a grudge from a fight. But wait, she's holding a grudge from 2 years ago?
From 2022, 3 years ago, actually. 3 years.
Damn. So wait, so y'all haven't talked since then?
No.
Oh, life is short. Does she have kids?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was she got married. I wasn't invited to her wedding.
When did she get married?
She got married 2023.
Oh, the same year you beat her up?
2022.
The same year you beat her up?
She was asking for her. She talked too much.
Oh my God, Cynthia! I thought you were so sweet and not beating people up. Okay,
we have our crazy side. I'm a crazy Cancer.
Oh, okay, capital C. Okay,
crybaby crazy Cancers.
Cynthia, we appreciate you calling in and sharing your story.
I appreciate you so much. You guys don't judge me. I'm really nice.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. I just needed to get the tea. I'm nosy. I don't feel that way about Libras. But when she said the victim stuff, I was like, I could see that with some Libras. I could definitely see that with some Libras. But damn, they're not talking. They haven't talked in a long time. That's sad. But it happens. I have moments where I don't talk to my siblings. Okay. All right, Tyler, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
So I have experienced Libras. They are manipulators, but they're typically good people. But Kelli displays Pisces behavior, very flip-flop.
Oh.
Every Pisces I know, they're very flip-flop, but it's because they want to be everyone's friend, and they end up caught up in the middle. Every Pisces I know it's like that. Overall with the show, I don't think Drew will be back next year. Britt wasn't coming back regardless. I'm interested to see who they are going to add to the fold. I do think a veteran needs to come in because Angela and Yvette would be good. These girls can't keep up with her. But other than that, that's it. Porsha, you were ready. And Phaedra, you're no Christian. You may sleep with a man named Christian, but you're not a Christian. But that's all.
Thanks, Tyler. So look, Tyler did that in 45 seconds. All right, let's bring up Toya next. Toya, what did you want to share about the Real Housewives of Atlanta's latest episode?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just wanted to say, yes, Porsha is the Christian from that show Greenleaf, the ones that people complain about. That'd be so messy. She's that kind of Christian.
Oh.
But I just want to say that Porsha, the nicest thing I've ever seen Porsha do for Shamia was give her hat and bathing suit in that photo shoot. That was so nice. First time. And probably going to be the last.
I agree.
I also wanted to say that I love that Grenada is getting so much love, and I hope that this does help boost their tourism. I'm sure that stuff was probably given to an organization that was shipping stuff over there, so we're probably not going to see that part of it.
Yeah.
But the exposure that they're getting, I'm Jamaican. I'm from New York. I've never heard of Jab Jab, and I'm ready to go. Like, I love that they are showing this light on this culture. I love it.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like you will want to go. I'm not going. I don't want to get all that, and then I gotta go back.
I'm trying to make it down the aisle in a few months, Kempire. My man ain't letting me go nowhere.
Oh.
He's like, excuse me, what?
You did hear my advice earlier, right?
Yes. Okay. No joint accounts.
Okay. No, you can have a joint account, but have your other accounts.
Oh, you already know.
But also have that joint account so he can pay the mortgage. All right.
I know that's right.
Bye, Toya. And congratulations, Toya. I think Jab Jab, again, Toya's Jamaican, I'm Jamaican. I never heard of Jab Jab, but now we all know about it. But if you like Carnival and stuff like that, I do see more people now are going to want. I don't like crowds like that, y'all. You know, my energy, I'm very particular with my energy. So I and all that rubbing up, no, I'm not going to like that. BK says, yes, Angela needs a vet. In regards to an OG. Literally, we just saw Nene hanging out at BET Awards with Angela and Kelli. So, I mean, I haven't heard that Nene is being considered for season 17. She definitely was being considered for, not considered, she basically was supposed to go to do Traders, but she decided to not go to some personal stuff going on. So that was the only reason why Nene was not going to be on Traders. All right, let's bring Ariana up next. Ariana, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
Good. I'm dog sitting right now, so I'm really hoping that they don't want to go crazy.
Oh.
I'm going to try to keep this short. But, okay, so you know how, like, throughout the season, Porsha and Shamia were getting mad at each other, like, on social media and stuff like that, and through interviews. Are they now fine? Like, I'm really confused. Like, are they cool? Are they not cool? I did think that her giving the hat was really nice, and they seem to be on a good page, but I'm confused about that post and delete, and I'm just like, what's going on? But I don't know if I'm not tapped in enough. I've been very busy.
I think we'll know. I think we'll know better next week. I think something else happens.
Okay. But yeah, overall, I think the show is getting a bit better. But it's still just, it's not like I'm rewatching old RHOA now, and it's just not. It's not giving anymore, and I don't know what they can do to really fix it, but I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
You know? But that's all.
Thanks, Ariana.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. I think we should normalize ending shows when they're just not good anymore. But again, this is a huge money bag for the network, Real Housewives in general. But I think they should just move on, maybe move to another city and develop another show. Miss Bernice is backstage and bring Miss Bernice up. Miss Bernice, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
What up, though, everyone? What up, though?
Hey.
Hey, Kempire. I think the Harlot twins was running amok last night.
Which one?
Phaedra and Porsha.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
You know, I'm a Christian. You know what? Lightning should have struck you as soon as you said that. Really? I can understand with Kelli and with Brittany, because when she was having a conversation with her about, you know, how she felt and everything, if we had an agreement before, and then we get on here, and you did a 360 on our agreement, now you're making me look bad. What's up with you? That was legitimate. I sympathize with Kelli on her going through her divorce, but you being a flip flopper, that's not good. Yeah. And you know what? The Harley twins, I'm just okay. I can't take them. How you going to be 1 minute, dang, 1 minute you're going to be for me, and then the next show you're going to be against her. Something ain't working with the mapping. That's it. My time done ran up. I'm going to hear people griping. She done went over time.
Who said that, Miss Birdie's? Name them. Name them. Thanks, Miss Bernice. Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, guys. Once we get to 900 likes, I will drop the call link for the general audience, but we have our members backstage. We're going to bring up Dewan next. Hold on. Dewan, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Kempire? How you doing?
Hey, not bad. How are you?
I have not been watching at all. It's been crazy.
Oh.
But I've been keeping up, obviously, with social media and stuff. And I think I've just come to this natural conclusion. I get it. They want to go younger because people are getting younger. But I think what just is so entertaining, and Angela proves it, and so many of the other franchises, there's something about just older women with money being housewives. Nobody wants some 22, 23-year-old, or whatever Brit is on. It's just they just don't mesh well. I mean, it's just something about an older crew. But I also think Angela and Charles will be divorced. I just think just seeing how she's just interacted with him and the social media response to it. And typically that's what the shows do. It exposes stuff, and either she's madly in love with him and he hates her, or just, I don't know. If they like it, I love it. And then with Drew, she could have been a staple. We had all of that good stuff going on with Ralph, and she dropped the bag completely with the flip-floppiness. One day they together, they cooking in the kitchen, the next day not. It's bad television. They're just giving us bad television.
Okay. All right, Dawn, thank you for calling in.
See you. Be safe.
Bye. Not be safe. Samara says that Britt is 38. She grown. All right. Love Calm Peace is backstage. Love Calm Peace, what did you want to share? Love Calm Peace? You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Headphones. Hi, my lavender husband.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, and I don't need y'all in the chat talking about Kelly rolling, blah, blah, blah. I know, but whatever. But so I just wanted to say I have not been really watching it. I tried over the weekend. I've been listening, catching some of your recaps or whatever, but I tried to watch the last 2 episodes. I didn't watch the one last night, but if I had to give the season an overall, I would give it a solid 2.5 because it's Porsha, sick of you. Y'all just really I just feel like everybody made Drew their storyline. Drew should have been first chair because everybody has Drew's name in their mouths. Angela, I don't know why Phaedra feel like she needs to shade Angela, because Angela is beautiful. She doesn't look like she had that much work done, whether she's in her 40s, 50s, whatever it is. She looks body is tea. She looks great. Now, I think with her and Charles, they remind me a lot of my mom and dad. My mom and dad were together before he passed. They were together 57 years. Whoa. You know, you are with, they remind me of that couple that's been together so long. Just I love you, but he just didn't seem like he's that affectionate. But yeah, that's all I have to say. But yeah, trash the season, and y'all can really cancel it. But
Okay, all right. Thanks, Love Calm Peace.
All right, bye.
I mean, they've only been together. They've only been married 8 years. But okay. But I get it. This is why a lot of people do defend Charles and how he treats Angela on the show. I mean, I'm sure they'll talk more about it, and I'm sure we're going to see more about their relationship play out during the season. We're almost done with the season. We're on episode 15. So I think we only have maybe 3 more episodes. Or 2 more. Yeah, 3 more episodes maybe before the reunion. And again, I don't think we need a 3-part reunion. Please. Especially with Kenya not being there, Britt not being there. What are we talking about? All right, Izzy's backstage. We'll bring Izzy up next. Izzy, what did you want to share?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm out getting my coffee. Look, taking my lunch break. I just wanted to say, actually, some of my comments are actually from last week since we couldn't call in.
Yeah.
I know that it is tacky to track people's money, but my real issue with Brit is that if you're really walking around being that girl, talking about how you had to leave your diamonds at home, and then you come with a $250 donation, I have a problem with that. So I'm not mad at Shamia for calling her out. Okay. I just think that Shamia's, it depends on what Shamia's intentions are too. Was it really to benefit the charity or just to be petty? And then the other thing I just wanted to mention was that, with respect to Angela and Charles, I just had my 9th wedding anniversary, and my husband is still all in my face, so I don't know how I feel about that. And that's it.
Well, Izzy, before you go, did you donate to our fundraiser this month?
I did, absolutely.
How much did you donate, Izzy? I'm playing.
Look, and I would tell you too, but no, I donated and plan to donate again before the end of the month.
Okay, thank you so much, Izzy. Just asking.
No problem.
Have a good day. Bye. But I'm just saying, like, I have a difference of opinion when it comes to how Shamia handled that situation. But like Izzy said, did she do it for a storyline, or did she do it because she generally thought that Britt should have given more? I think she elevated it for a story because they had a whole side conversation off camera about it. So and Shamia confirmed that. So why are we still talking about it? And Shamia just it didn't land right. You were talking with the group in the van about how you're going to talk to her about it, and then when she feels like you're throwing shade at her at the table, you're now acting like she's making it up, gaslighting her basically. But since I just asked Izzy, I should ask all the callers when they call in, did you donate to the Kempire Pride Month fundraiser? If you're just joining us, live chat, have you? Check out our last video. If you're watching the replay of this, it'll be along the side here. Have you donated to our Pride Month fundraiser? I'm trying to get to $3,000 before the end of the week. I would like to raise $5,000 for the month. I see some of y'all over here throwing in super chats. You could be throwing it at at the fundraiser. Playing. All right, let me say thank you for the super chats that I just received. We appreciate the support, guys. And again, we have like over 2,000 people. So if I don't see your comments, it's not intentional, guys, because again, we have 2,000 people in the chat. I can't always see everything or I'll miss it. Ariel, thank you for the super chat. Ariel says, Phaedra is totally different around these women compared to Married to Medicine. I think she didn't want the seriousness. She didn't want the seriousness of Married to Medicine, wanted to party and BS like she's doing now, because both groups are mean girls, in my opinion. She was definitely different with them, and she barely worked on Married to Medicine because she didn't have to. They didn't really make her to, but the other women were trying to make her work. You saw that in the last season. They let her get away with it in her first season. Linda, thank you so much for the super chat. Linda says, my mom always say, have your own money. As you should. As you should. Lashunda, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Lashunda says, hey, Kempire, you don't have to teach the Pisces because we already know. Oh, in regards to donating. Thank you, Lashunda. Tamara, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Tamara says, you just got another Virgo member. It is the villain era after all. Okay. Virgos. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you for becoming a member as well. Candid but Sweet says, thank you for the super chat. Late, I see why Phaedra didn't fit in with Married to Medicine. Phaedra is a city girl and with the ish. Literally, that's what someone just said too. RC, thank you so much for the super chat. RC says, I think all the new girls want to be on Shamia's tip after seeing her level of wealth. It reminds me of RHOC, all of the Heather's new fake friends. You think that's what it is? It's possible. Or the fact that they see how maybe production was treating Shamia, because after Porsha's storyline fell flat because of the divorce being announced and they weren't able to film with Porsha at her home. And then everyone was sort of, probably production was sort of like, okay, so that means we need to redirect and focus on Shamia. So maybe that could be it too. Who knows? Adrian, thank you so much for the super chat. Adrian says, Kempire, I'm a Cancer and my sister's a Leo, and we beef all the time. And we live together. I'm 26 and she's 24. Yeah, it's gotten physical. Oh my God. I shouldn't be so surprised, because as a kid, I never got physical with any of my siblings, but they did. But they did. So, look, we do not encourage this type of violence. Okay, you're a Cancer and she's a Leo and y'all fighting like that? Damn. But y'all are y'all 20s. But okay, might be time to move out. Ooh, child. I'm surprised the Cancers are fighting like this, though. I never really knew Cancers to be fighters. End Up, thank you so much for the super chat. End Up says, Kelli is a March Pisces and Cynthia is a February Pisces. There's the difference. Sure, we'll go with that, End Up. Because I can see similarities in both. Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen says, I'm already counting down to my Atlanta trip, and yes, I live in Orange County, California. Queen, are you coming to the Atlanta show? Is that what you're saying to me? Oh yeah, you did tell me that last week, right? That you're coming to the Atlanta show. Queen is coming all the way from Orange County. And y'all in Atlanta haven't gotten your tickets yet? No. Atlanta, y'all showing up. Go get your tickets, guys. Don't be left outside the door and then begging for tickets later. Same. And we had a hell of a time my last Atlanta show. And we had a long meet and greet. That was a fun time, though. You guys made me cry. It was really good. I can't wait to come to Atlanta. But first, I'm coming to Philadelphia. Okay, let me say thank you. And then I'm going to drop the call-in link for the live chat. All right, we did that. Thank you guys so much for 900 likes. Let's get to 1,000. We already have over 2,000 of you watching on multiple platforms. We're not live on TikTok because TikTok is a menace. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, I bet Bravo feels dumb about telling a major lie about the GUN investigation. Britt is definitely going to use that to her advantage. Side note, I got a call out of work for your Atlanta show. Kendra, don't tell nobody. You could have told me that on the low. Shh. Y'all don't know anything about Kendra. All right. So I'll see you in Atlanta. Yeah, our Atlanta show. Yeah, it's on a Tuesday. But guys, I fought for like a Friday. But booking shows are not easy, and dates get picked up very quickly, and people fighting over dates, and y'all have no idea on what it takes. So the only other date I could get that was soon would be that date that we have. So it's a Tuesday, but we can still get crunk on a Tuesday, right? Right. All right. Let's bring up our next couple of callers. Okay. We got Zena backstage. Zena, what did you want to share?
Hi, Camp. OG, let me hurry up and get my commentary because I'm at work. I ain't supposed to be on this phone.
Go ahead.
No, but I just wanted to say a couple of things. First and foremost, people like Porsha, whether it's like real celebrities or Bravo celebrities or whatever, I don't understand them having people like yourself blocked. You're commentators. If it wasn't for your commentary, several of your callers had called in. We wouldn't even be watching the show. We don't even watch it. We don't want to see it. We're only keeping up on it because of people like you. If it weren't for commentators on YouTube that we like, giving us the tea and the scoop to even give us a smidge bit of interest for next season, boo, the show would have 0 views. Let's be for real. There's that. Ralph had me on the floor with his flatline season. Oh my God, that man was not getting the reception he thought he was gonna get. And I was in the comments hollering. People was like, we don't care about that, Ralph. Where was you at in Tampa? Tell us where you was at, because we still don't know about your 3-day vacation, Booski. Let us know where you was at, Ralph. The receipts was flat.
Yeah.
But yes, that's all. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Zena. Take care.
Bye. You too.
Ooh. All right, we have NYC DMP backstage. Hold on one second. NYC DMP, what's going on? What did you want to share?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I don't think that the Charles thing is what everybody thinks it is, because he's an Aquarius, and my father's an Aquarius, and they act a lot alike. Like, they're what we've been told. Anyway, like, my dad's like the light of the room at a party, but he's very quiet otherwise. He doesn't go and hold like his wife's hand. They've been married for over 30 years, and she's crazy. But he's as loyal as possible to her. So I just think that they act different in the open, in the wild, than they do in the home, because he loved that woman, and I don't know how. Oh. But that Aquarius is well.
What's her sign?
She's a Sagittarius. It's a lot. But anyway, I don't think it's that they don't love each other. I think he's just quiet about it, maybe a little snarky about it, a little dark humor about it. Anyway, that's all. Love you.
Thank you, NYC DMP. I'm sure you'll be at the New York City show. I'm sure. I think she's come to all the shows in New York City. All right. Let's bring up Judgy. Oh, damn. Okay. Let's bring up Judgy Justice. Judgy Justice, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, I just wanted to share that I honestly really... It was like back and forth for me for this episode, so I ultimately ended up at like a 6.5 for a rating out of 10. The geriatric Mean Girls, City Girls, whatever y'all want to call them, is very different. And then also Phaedra reminds me of like those mean church goers. Then like you find out that they was at Freaknik, and now you're like, now I know why you hating. Another thing is that I feel like the issue between Britt and Shamia will be cleared up if we know, did Britt actually give more donation, or was it just that small box? Did she write the check?
She wrote a $250 check.
She wrote a $150 check?
$250.
Oh. Well, then I don't understand it then. I missed that part then. I feel like then Shamia's just being shady. And she's giving you May Taurus as a bad rap.
You know
what? I can't fire.
You know what? That is ridiculous. I mean, she is giving us a bad rep. Okay. Brianna's backstage. We're going to bring Brianna up next. Brianna, what did you want to share?
The first thing I want to share is hi, Kempire and Team Libra. I think we're the most misunderstood sign because what we do is we are nice until we're just no longer nice.
Brianna,
I never play victim. I hold all the accountability. It's just when I mirror the behavior, people don't like it. That's what the problem is. Okay, let me be quickly on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I've been watching old episodes and I'm trying to compare them watching this because it's like everybody plays a role in the old episodes. Everybody stood up. Everybody did what they need to do. This one, everybody's just trying to blame each other. They're like trying to pass the baton like, oh, it's Drew. Oh, it's Brittany. Oh, it's this. So it's like if everybody just stepped up and worried about themselves and brought something to the show, it would bring old school Real Housewives of Atlanta because that's what they did in the old show. Everybody had their own thing, said their own thing, and then when they fought, it was an entity fighting another entity. So that's the one thing I would say that is the difference.
Okay. All right, Brianna. Yeah. Go continue. Look, go continue to play victim. No, play. Take care. Right. Bye. I already told you, I normally like Libras, but when Cynthia mentioned the playing victim part, I was like, oh, I can kind of see that with some of the Libras that I know. I can kind of see that. I can, Libras, but I still like y'all. Woo, woo, woo. Look. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, or this one. Woo, woo, woo. More dramatic. Okay. Keisha's backstage. We're going to bring Keisha up next. Keisha, what did you want to share?
Can you hear me okay?
No. Why do you sound like... Do you have headphones on? Uh-oh, now I can't hear you at all. You might have to take the headphones off, Keisha. Still can't hear you, Keisha. Maybe drop out and call back in, Keisha. All right. Excommunicado's backstage. Excommunicado, what did you want to share? You're muted, Excommunicado. What is going on? You're muted, Excommunicado. All right. We're going to have to pull you down. Oh, wait. There we go. Excommunicado, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, great. So, quickly, I just want to say the whole Kelli and Brit situation, it's kind of confusing, and I'm waiting to look how that is going to play out when the whole details come out. But for me, what stood out in the after show was when Brit listed like the team that Kelli had a meeting with, and she was like the videographer, the stylist, the makeup, the hair, the manager, and I'm like, that is quite a lot to be sharing. Why don't you have your own manager, though? So that's kind of a bit weird. But I also think part of why Bravo is getting this lawsuit is because Brit got like some really bad editing. So if you notice, the whole season, there's been like this whole kind of barrage on her, and she's been painted as this dumb, problematic person. So probably that's why she checked out and decided to sue her. Yeah.
Okay. Excommunicado, thank you for calling in.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Do you guys think that Brit got a bad edit? Which is possible. I always say, people blame editing and like you can't blame editing, but sometimes you can, especially if you learn about context. And you're like, oh, so that scene actually lands differently. Especially when you learn what Bravo can get away with when it comes to editing. Splitting up your words, audio that was in a whole other scene and using it in another scene. Like all that stuff does happen. So I don't know if Brit got a bad edit though. Based on what we've seen of Brit, even in interviews, I think Brit got the edit that she deserved. I don't think Brit got a bad edit. I think Brit's just not likable. And I think she knew that they were not going to bring her back. Thank you, N-Dub, for the super chat. N-Dub says, maybe Shamia is in her villain era too. She probably is. She is a Taurus, so she probably is too. I mean, our villain era, I think, is over. But look, I'm extending it. Stay tuned. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone watching on Twitch, Twitter, those of you watching on Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Don't forget, later I will be dropping our day 24 Diddy trial recap. But if you missed it, we have a whole playlist when it comes to the Diddy trial updates, as summaries of everything that's been happening over the last couple of days. This Juror 6 situation is still a hot topic over the weekend. Diddy's legal team filed a motion trying to keep that juror because he's the only there's one other black person on this jury, and they would like to keep this particular one. So I'll have that update for you guys later. And don't forget, you can hear our live recaps like this one and the Diddy updates, along with extended versions of the Diddy updates on the Kempire podcast. But those that haven't already, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed to the podcast, or you haven't given us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, do me a favor. It's Pride Month. Don't be homophobic. Go give us a 5-star rating on those platforms. And if you haven't liked this video already, be sure to like the video. Why am I moving my hands like Kamala Harris? Why am I doing that? Because I'm speaking with my hands. Anyway, thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Thank you to everyone that's already donated to our Pride Month fundraiser. We are almost at 3,000, but we're not quite there yet. So I'm going to shame each and every one of you guys. For those that are watching this right now, raise your hand if you donated and tell me how much you donated. No, just raise your hand if you donated. And if you haven't, I'm going to shame you. Shame. Look, shame. And those of you that have donated, how much? Don't play. I get it. Some of you were waiting. Someone said, SW says, we did it, Joe. All right, let me get to these last couple of callers. We have some people that are still backstage. We're almost at 1,000 likes, guys. We're almost at 1,000. Okay. All right, Danique is backstage. We're going to bring Danique up next. Danique, what did you want to say about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hello, Kempire. This is the first time I'm ever calling in.
Where are you calling from? I hear an accent.
Actually, I'm from Canada, but I'm Jamaican.
I was about to say, I was like, dang, not a Canadian accent.
Yeah, so I live around the Toronto area, I won't say exact, but I'm Jamaican, but born and grew up like half my life. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that I love that other parts of the Caribbean is being highlighted.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, the Caribbean has two sets, like the Great Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. So Jamaica, Cuba, Hispaniola, which is like Haiti and Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico is greater, and the Lesser Antilles is Grenada. Trinidad is at the bottom, like St. Kitts and Nevis, and Antigua and Barbuda. Those smaller islands are part of Les Antilles, and I love that, Grenada is being highlighted, and they have really great beaches. So Jamaica is great, big up Jamaica, but it's great to see our little cousins also sharing the space. So
yeah, I agree. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Danique?
And even though it's a lackluster season, I just love Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know. Even if it's the bottom of the bottom, I don't care. I'll watch it. I don't know. Maybe it's a nostalgia of it. Mm-hmm. It's been for 16 seasons. I don't know. That's 13 years. But maybe I grew up on it and I just really love it. So I love to even watch it, and then reviews, and then all the drama that comes in the week, and then back to reviews again. Maybe because I just have a 3-week-old and that's all I have to do, but apart from taking care of her, but I still tune in. I know everyone wants to trash it, but I keep it.
Okay.
What else is there? So.
Well, I appreciate you watching, because then you come watch the recap.
Yes, exactly. And traitors that are coming up, I'm looking forward to it. I watch every season in the US, and
is there a Canadian
one? You said
one?
I love when it's mixed. Pardon me?
Is there a Canadian one for traitors?
Yes, there is. But it's not as hype as they have some Canadians. They do a mixture. Like they have Canadian celebrities, quote unquote, and there are, some regular people. But the US, obviously, the celebrities are much bigger. So. And the host is obviously different, but Traitors through, and I've also watched the UK. All three of them is good.
The UK one I love. All right.
Yes.
Congrats on your 3-week-old. Now get back to it. Don't play.
I know. All righty.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Let's try Keisha again. Keisha, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you in the closet?
Not right now, no.
Oh.
Wagwan from Jamaica.
Oh, okay. What's going on?
So I think all of these episodes are filler episodes for me. Actually, last night is the one that I enjoyed the most because, of course, just the cultural of it all. I didn't know anything about it, so was very intrigued about that. Mm-hmm. So I don't have too much to say about it, but I did want to ask you a question. When Kelli was talking to Britt on the bed and she was saying, the girls wanted you to show up a little bit more, like you went to Miami and did the whole BBL thing. Do you think she was thinking like she paid for it? Or
when they replayed that scene, that was what I assumed, that she treated everyone to those different things.
I did not treat everybody. I think she just planned the trip, and then it was like everybody, here's the doctor. You go ahead and get what you like, and we just go ahead and do this all together. I really don't think Britt came out of her pocket.
But do you think Britt tried to paint the picture that she did in that scene?
She could have, but she didn't clarify at all. There was no follow-up.
Because that is expensive to pay for all of those like cosmetic surgeries.
Absolutely. And how big was the team? Was it a team of 2 or a team of 10?
Well, now it's a team of 0 because the business is not. That's probably why the business is no longer.
Facts. One last thing I wanted to ask you, kind of off topic. So last night, I don't know if you're watching Love Hotel? Did you watch the last of that? And did you see the pickings of it all? And what did you think about Ashley that she didn't go with?
Are we surprised? Ashley just went on there for the check.
True.
She's not even with that guy anymore. She's back with Josh Harlow. And remember, when she went on the trip for this show, she was already dating Josh Harlow.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he just... Okay,
and now she's filming with him again this season.
Everybody.
So...
Yeah. Okay.
Ashley's a scammer.
All right. Thanks always, Kempire.
Thanks, Keisha. Take care. Bye. I did watch the final episode of Love Hotel, but I didn't watch a couple of the episodes right before this season finale. It was season finale. I will say this about Giselle. Giselle looked great. At the end, when they do like the deciding who they're going to be, Giselle ended up single. I wasn't surprised by that. Giselle was a replacement allegedly to come in and fill for Bryn from Roni. Ashley ended up choosing the older guy, but she's not even with him anymore. Luann, although she did end up choosing the guy that she chose, but she said on Watch What Happens Live last night that she's still talking to him, but he lives in Hawaii and she's here in New York. So, but she seems like she really is smitten by him. I kind of wish... I feel like Lou likes being on television, but I also think Lou wants to have another love in her life. Shannon did choose a guy, but they're no longer together. So I think they all do it because they want to be on reality television. They do it for the check. Literally, Shannon had to pay that other scammer $60,000 for what he was suing her for. So her doing this show, she ended up making up the money she lost. It was a good show, though. I will say that. Love Hotel, you're welcome, Bravo. Love Hotel wasn't bad. I feel like they chose decent guys for the most part. I feel like they had some good guys. I kind of wish Giselle really went in there wanting to find love. I do think that Giselle is a hard shell, but I wish she kind of approached it differently. I think she kind of approached it like she was hosting as opposed to actually going in there for something. But now everyone keeps saying, like, who should go on Love Hotel next? We shall see. I just don't want them going on this Love Hotel just to be on Love Hotel and not really trying to find love. Because then it takes away from the reality aspect of what we're watching. That's just me. Like, if we're going to do this, let's do this for real. Okay, anyway. I say all that to say, guys, what did you think of last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta? I thought it was a solid episode. I think they did a good job when it comes to the girls' trip, especially this last part. The first 2 parts, Again, we only probably have like 3 more episodes before the reunion. It will be interesting to see what happens between Porsha and Shamia. I'm feeling like Porsha's just believing Britt. Britt doesn't like Shamia, so now we're starting trouble where there shouldn't be trouble. But okay. Someone said Kenya. Kenya is not going to be on anything Bravo or NBC Universal right now when Britt's suing them. Until they put this to bed, till they settle this, it's not going to be a good look for NBC Universal to have Kenya do anything with them when she's the target of a lawsuit. Apperlife says that I need Tiffany Pollard on it. Tiffany's doing House of Villains again. I don't know why. I love me some Tiffany Pollard. We need her on Celebrity Big Brother, but they haven't done a new season of that either. We've talked about a whole lot in this recap. We talked about people's family business. Cynthia's getting into fights with people. We talked a lot, but it's now 2 p.m. Eastern here in New York City, and I got to go cover the Diddy of it all. And that's a lot to cover and to talk about. We have a lot to cover there in regards to juror number 6 and whatever is playing out in today's court. So I will see you all in the next one. Thank you to our King's Guard. If you would like to be one of our King's Guards, I'm going to add maybe 1 or 2. But you have to have been here over the last couple of years. Like, I can't add someone that's a Johnny-come-lately. All right? You see what the job is. You don't have to be here all the time, even though Foxy is always here. Mama Ali is always here. But I think in fairness to them, I would like to at least have additional support for them. Okay? All right. So we're going to add a couple of new King's Guards in 2025. So stay tuned. If you act up, though, please don't get your feelings hurt if you wake up one day and you're no longer a King's Guard. Don't get in your feelings. We've had that over the years. We've gotten a good stride with our King's Guards now, though. All right. Breezy says, Team Libra. All right. Hey, Vicky. Vicky's watching on Facebook. Shout out to our Facebook fam. Vicky says, love you, Kempire Daily. Can't wait for the updates. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for our Diddy update. Thanks, Foxy. Guys, don't forget to show love to our King's Guards in the chat. Thank you to everyone that sent in a super chat. Thank you to everyone that donated to our Pride Month fundraiser. Don't forget, we are still raising money. We still have not hit our goal. Okay? So please donate. If you're watching the replay of this, it will be along the side here. Or for those that are here now, go check out one of our last videos. You'll be able to donate there. Okay? All right. Thanks to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. Thank you to those that are just watching. And don't forget, the Kempire After Dark, the villain era, is coming to City Winery in Philly on July 10th. Atlanta, we're coming to that City Winery on August 5th. Then we'll be at Union Stage on August 22nd in DC. And then we're back here in New York City at the Green Room 42 on September 12th. That show has a meet and greet and live stream option. All the shows have meet and greets as well. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you all in the next one. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.